I was really excited for this intro. Really excited because I found something really juicy in here. And I threw it on our subreddit and I was really excited. Yeah.
From Floor.
I texted you guys about it saying I'm really excited for this one. So if you guys would, one of you two, would you turn in your books to page 226? But I am reading the British version. I'm sorry if I'm going to be really giggly about this too. It's going to show my immaturity. But I read this and I was like, what are they talking about? And I reread it and I literally laughed for a solid 5 minutes.
I'm looking to see if I underlined anything ridiculous.
226, you said, right?
Yeah, go to page 226. Can you read the very bottom line going up to the next paragraph? So starting in anyway and ending in somehow.
Anyway, it's a nightmare of a year the 5th, said George. If you care about exam results anyway, Fred and I managed to keep our spirits up somehow.
Oh gosh, what does yours say? I can only imagine.
Guys, I am reading the British version, and this is what the British version says. I could not stop giggling at this. So I'm not even going to make it through this, but this is what the British version says. Anyway, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare of a year, that 5th, said George. If you care about exam results anyway, Fred and I managed to keep our peckers up somehow.
So I'm reading the UK version too. I read that and I was like, I'm going to pretend I did not read that. And I just kept going.
Peckers.
It's not us this time, Kristen.
British slang or something?
It's British for nose. I had to look it up because I didn't.
Goodness.
But I don't know. I'm sure some of you guys are.
Do they use that just?
They're keeping their nose up. It's like an idiom. Like you keep your head up, you keep your spirits up. Like the American version is translated.
Wait,
but
do we have someone?
peckers? Yeah, we have a few people from Great Britain, and I'm telling you, from Great Britain, you guys, it means, what does it mean, right? It means like keep your spirits up.
Because it doesn't mean that in
doesn't
America.
mean that in American English. In American English, it means something very different, and they're able to keep their peckers up even in spite of owls and even in spite of OWLs.
Just the guys, though.
Just the guys. Only Fred and George. There were other people who had boils, who had real bad anxiety, but Fred and George, their peckers were up.
She's dead.
Oh my gosh, I could not stop. I'm so immature, but I could not stop laughing at
Their
that.
joke shop expanded to pharmaceuticals again.
Oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. I just got that.
Keep your pecker up. That's what the product is called.
Oh my.
Wowee.
I was wondering, I'm like, what is it going to say?
Yeah. So someone actually says they're American, but they grew up in England, and that's one that almost never gets used. It might be a regional dialect or something old. Yeah, and like idioms mean something different in different countries, but that to me was so funny. I could not stop laughing.
You're like rereading it over and over, like, could it be? No.
You didn't really say that, did you?
Like I said, I just pretended it
But
didn't.
this is like the kids' book, isn't it?
It's supposed to be.
There's another one in one of the books where I think we're actually coming up to it, where Filch, it says the British version, Filch punted students across the hallway. And I think in the American version, it's like he walks them across or rows them. I'm not going to I can't exactly translate because it's slight spoilers, but he like brings them across rather than punts. It was kind of funny. Anyway, welcome to the podcast. I'm John.
Jen.
Danny.
And Kristen.
And this is Harry Potter and the First Time Readers. Just as a reminder, as always, go check out our subreddit, r/first-time-readers. Go check us out on social media. If you want to support us on Patreon, we don't have any extra content, but if you want to support this podcast, you can on that. So enjoy these chapters 10 to 12 of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Sorry,
I timed that so well every time. I'm like, this is a good time to drink.
Oh my goodness. Okay, sorry for my immaturity there. But
That's all right. It's nice to share it.
Seriously. Meanwhile, you two guys are always laughing at these
And
immature
you guys
things.
are so serious. We're so mature, guys. Don't crack a smile.
All right, we are on chapters 10 to 12. There's some really great stuff in these chapters. I'm so excited to talk about these chapters. But let's go to chapter 10. Can one of you guys give me a summary of chapter 10, Luna Lovegood?
This is where they're going from the Order of the Phoenix headquarters to Hogwarts. Harry's lonely. We meet Luna. Ginny is great. Harry sees some creepy horses pulling the carriages at the end of the chapter. And Malfoy is one of the prefects. He starts abusing power. And Harry was reading some weird articles in the Quibbler.
Sounds good to me.
Great summary. Okay. I actually forgot to mention this. So there's two things that I want to talk about before. Just two really quick things that people found on our subreddit. One person came up with a headcanon, and someone literally just put this in chat, and I thought this is cool. So Ava said, when they got into the Ministry of Magic, Mr. Weasley uses the numbers in the telephone box, and he inputs these numbers, and the numbers spell out magic if you're typing them into the thing.
That's
so like,
cool.
Yeah, JK putting little cool things in there, like the numbers actually spell out in the non-QWERTY keyboard, they spell out magic. And then someone in our subreddit had a really great headcanon. I think Nom Nom, the subreddit user, Nom Nom. I think it was that person. But they said that the reason that Dumbledore was able to make it on time to the trial was that he used a time turner.
That's what I was thinking. That's what I said, I think.
I don't know if you said that.
I didn't think so, but
You said it in passing, and it just went right over my head. I'm sorry.
Shocking.
Only
Danny counts.
yeah, now we're gonna re-listen and see. So
I'm like 99% sure I said time turner, and then that's why he knew when to come.
Yeah.
It
So
could
we're
be.
on the same wavelength, whoever was, that was.
Nice.
Jenn is
Nom
coming up
nom.
with good headcanon.
That was me, actually, in subreddits chatting to you.
Jenn is really nom nom, commenting on everything that she sees.
I'm just kidding.
But I think that was a great, Jenn, that was a great theory. So thanks for coming up with that.
Oh my gosh. You're welcome.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go back to chapter 10.
You have to re-listen to it and then text me after.
I know, for real. Chapter 10, Luna Lovegood. That was a perfect summary. Let's talk about a few things in this chapter. The first thing that I want to talk about, they're on their way to the train station. They're like on their way. Sirius is jumping around in the form of a dog. Do you guys think Sirius is irresponsible for going with the group to the train station?
A little bit. I thought it was so weird
Yeah.
that he was acting like a dog, like more than I thought he should. I'm like, he actually has dog tendencies when he is a dog. Like he loses some of himself and becomes more dog version.
Or is he just acting harder? That's what I wasn't sure.
Ooh, nice.
Like, I really have to act this
Act
up.
the dog part.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
I have no idea how that works.
I thought it was irresponsible, but not at first. I think the irresponsible part came a little later. At first, I actually thought it was a good thing because I'm viewing Moody saying, hey, we're down a person, whatever. Now they're about to go out there. I'm thinking the dude looking for him is on their side. So that's a step in the right direction. And someone's trying to kill Harry. So having a little extra protection from someone as good as him, probably a good idea. So then I was like, yeah, it's totally fine. But then, of course, in hindsight, Harry didn't get attacked. So now we can say, oh, it was so irresponsible. But we'd feel pretty silly if Harry got attacked and they needed another person to defend him.
Well, he just wanted to get out of the house.
And that's maybe the thing, too. If it was for selfish reasons only, like he just wanted to get out of the house, then
Kind of how I took
a little
it.
bit lame. But I also took it as like more time with Harry and
Yeah, for sure.
protection, that kind of thing.
I think maybe his primary motive was getting it. Sorry, Wes is being real playful right now. He's pretty cute. He's like grabbing your shoes. Watch out for your shoes. I'll chew your shoelaces off. He was being, I think his primary motive was probably getting out of the house. But I mean, secondarily, he's watching after Harry, watching after his godson. A little bit there.
Yep.
So I feel bad for him. I think these chapters, particularly the ones right before this, you kind of just feel bad that he's cooped up there all alone. Well, not all alone, but just like cooped up in the house.
Yeah.
Because he can't go anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
And he can't even like a dog anymore either, right?
Well, he almost screwed himself over because Draco in the train says, "I'm gonna be dogging you."
I know.
So Draco seems
said
to
the same
know.
thing in your version.
Yeah. He didn't say I'm peckering you. I'm sorry. I'm gonna laugh at that all the time now. It's so funny. But yeah, Draco seems to know now. So I feel like Sirius is even more screwed because he can't go out as a dog at all because the Malfoys know and they screw him over.
How do they know? Because of Wormtail?
Yeah, probably because of Wormtail. Yeah.
Because he never saw them together.
No, we never saw them together. But they probably know because of Wormtail.
Yeah.
This is another line that we get. The girl beside the window looked up. She had straggly, waist-length, dirty blonde hair, very pale eyebrows, and protuberant eyes that gave her a permanently surprised look. Harry knew at once why Neville had chosen to pass this compartment by. The girl gave off an aura of distinct dottiness. Perhaps it was the fact that she had stuck her wand behind her left ear for safekeeping, which, to be honest, I think is pretty cool. It's like, if you're like putting your wand in your hair to keep your bun together or putting it behind your ear, I think that's kind of cool, actually. Or that she had chosen to wear a necklace of butterbeer corks, which again is kind of cool. Or that she was reading a magazine upside down. Her eyes ranged over Neville and came to rest on Harry. She nodded. What are your first impressions of Luna Lovegood?
She's an odd one.
She is very odd. Do you guys like her or not?
Yeah, I like her. She's cool.
Interesting. Her voice in the audiobook is funny.
Yeah.
Just like very slow speech. So it just changed, like it adds another part to her personality for me.
I was saying last book too, this is probably, I think, there's other characters that are obviously introduced after this, but this one, she kind of becomes a main character. Not like a crazy main character, but very much part of the story. So
yeah, because there's a lot of her stuff around in stores. I was like, who is this?
Yeah. If you had to describe Luna in one word, how would you guys describe her?
There's a word and I can't.
It's an artsy word, and I can't think of it.
It's like not eccentric.
Yeah, that's the word I was thinking of. Oh my gosh.
They're really diving tonight.
An artsy
I was going to say
word?
like bohemian or something like that, but she's not quite bohemian. I think Trelawney's more bohemian.
Yeah. What the heck? I'm going to face this way.
You guys are in sync right now. Danny, what's one word you would use to describe her?
It's hard to do in one word.
Yeah.
So many things. Hyphenated modern dash hippie.
Oh, okay.
Because maybe I do think of her like a little bit like a hippie. Free-spirited, but independent.
Yeah. Independent's a good one. There's one thing that I think she does that shows her independence really good really well. Really good. I don't know if that's proper grammar. When I think Ron was talking to her and she just kind of said, Hagrid's not a good teacher. All of us know that. And all of them kind of got in an uproar over it. And she just plainly stated it and didn't look offended that they didn't like her opinion. She just kind of went on. I think one thing that I love about her is that she is unapologetically herself. Like she does not feel the need to apologize to anyone over who she is. And I think that's a quality a lot of us probably it would be nicer to have that, but
right. I feel like she maybe takes those qualities to the extreme.
Yeah.
Because it feels like the reason we get offended by the things people say is because we care about other people. We care what they think of us. And that's a good thing too, within reason. But it's fun to see a character take it to the extreme because you can see how freeing it is for her.
Yeah.
She doesn't have to care what anyone else says.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's another line that I just want to make a personal qualm over because I love plants. If I was at Hogwarts, herbology might be my favorite subject. And the line goes, Harry knew that Neville's favorite subject was herbology, but for the life of him, he could not see what he would want with this stunted little plant. I think Harry's a loser. Who wouldn't like plants? There's another line that I want to talk about. There's a few interesting things in here. Rather pink in the face, she closed the door and departed. Harry slumped back in his seat and groaned. He would have liked Cho to discover him sitting with a group of very cool people laughing their heads off at a joke he had just told. He would not have chosen to be sitting with Neville and Loony Lovegood, clutching a toad and dripping in stink sap. This is like a long-term question, and so maybe it's a boring question, but who do you think all these characters, if they all stay alive, because you guys have theories they're all going to die, who do you think they're going to marry? If you had to couple some of these people, who do you think Harry is going to end up with? Even Neville, Luna, Hermione, Ron. Give me some relationships.
I could see after this chapter a Neville Ginny combo because of the Ginny comments about the Yule Ball.
Yeah.
With Neville, like she was like, I almost like said I would have gone with you, except I already am going with someone else, right?
Yeah.
And then with this, she's just so kind.
Wait, time out. Ginny and Neville did go together.
Oh, they actually did. Okay,
Yeah.
that's why I was in my head.
The one line, Ginny corrected him because Neville said, I'm a nobody.
And she said,
And she
no,
goes,
you're not.
No, you're not.
And that was the kindness here. Oh, that's funny that
Love
they went
Ginny.
together.
Love Ginny doing
Why was
that.
I
She was
thinking
awesome
they
in
didn't?
this.
Oh, she was a little bit like, well, I'd have to reread it. I don't remember all the details, but they went to the Yule Ball. So again, a more reason. I just feel like that'd be kind of cool because I like them both. And I've never liked Ginny that much in the past, but in these chapters, crushed it. She was great. Just very, very kind. But we also saw earlier in this book, she's actually like smart and good with magic. And she's very like socially aware. So yeah, but I don't know about other people. I feel like Ron and Hermione have to be.
I know.
They're already like married. They're like an old bickering married couple,
Yeah.
which is either a recipe for disaster or firm friend zoning. But because of all the Yule Ball stuff, feels like it's leading up to more. And it's really all coming out of the tension.
What does that look like?
I don't know.
Yeah. I agree with you, Ron and Hermione.
And Harry's gonna have to die
can't-
fighting Voldemort at the end, so he doesn't get married.
Yeah.
Let me think. Do we?
But
know
it's
any characters?
funny, not that it would
Cho.
be.
Oh.
It's morbid.
No, Cho. Oh, she still wants to talk to him all the time.
I know, but I don't understand. Well, he was being dumb by the end, where he's like asking her how her summer was. Like, I just feel bad for him because now he's the one who always has people around.
Yeah,
but
but
Cho
he
is more
should
mature
go
than
up
him.
to her now.
Yeah.
Like she did it once, twice.
Twice.
So now
But
it's his turn.
even right here, it was obvious she liked him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, do something. And this is obviously not because I've done this myself. I'm a hypocrite in this regard, but it's just like he's getting the signs. So take action. So it's just funny that I'm like, it actually maybe could work if she's over Cedric. But it feels weird. It feels weird. Bonding over death is not a good start.
Yeah, that is a really rough start. And then I love one of my favorite moments in these chapters is later on when she sees Harry right before his potions exam, and Ron, who has no
Oh my
sense,
gosh,
goes,
yeah.
"Is that a tornadoes emblem?" And they get in a debate about Quidditch there, and she just like walks away. If I'm
But then Hermione was so good there.
I know.
Yeah.
Great stretch of chapters for Hermione. Hermione is, we'll talk about this in a bit, but Hermione, I love when she, like stops Harry from being angry at them. And she has two lines in particular that I'll read later that she's like, Harry, can you stop taking your anger out on us? And then she sends Ron up later saying the same thing to the divination lesson. I love that. Hermione is just saying, stop. Did you talk about who you think Hermione might end up with?
Yeah, I think Ron.
Yeah.
But also, I wouldn't be opposed to a Crumb situation. Like, honestly, at the end of all of that, I was thinking, like, Crumb seems like a kind of good guy. We don't know a lot about him. They're still, whatever.
Didn't they leave?
Yeah, they left. But I still respect Crumb. So, I wouldn't be that
What
opposed.
about Hermione and Malfoy?
They had a crush in real life. Hermione had a massive crush on Tom Felton in the movies.
Wow.
So maybe it'll happen. Maybe Draco will convert to the good side and they'll strike up a relationship.
Or Hermione goes evil.
Oh, wow.
Nah, she
That'll
can't.
be the
She's
day.
too good. That'd be interesting. That'd be cool.
Does Harry even have time for a girlfriend? No.
I
Certainly
know.
not
Especially
now.
in this book.
He doesn't
I
have
feel like
time for
he's a
anything.
crappy boyfriend.
He's
Yeah,
too grumpy.
so
He's still working out a lot of issues that he has. And they're basing their relationship right now off of, when I'm rereading this, it's just strange. Like what you said, Danny, like she's processing the death of her previous boyfriend who Harry beat in the Triwizard Tournament, or they kind of won together, but Harry witnessed. Like their love is based off of Cedric's death.
But is it love? I feel like she just wants to talk to Harry about what
Yes.
happened to Cedric. And he's like, oh, she wants to talk to me. She likes me.
But she
still."
seems so positive about it in her stance.
In the
Maybe she's just
2
holding it
sentences
together.
she said?
But yeah, but even that, like
She
she's
keeps
able to
getting
make small
interrupted.
talk and like whatever. I would think she would still be more messed up about it than this. But even seeing her at school was a little surprising to me. I thought it was going to be one of those things where we didn't see her at the beginning. Then she came in later, maybe. So for her to be there and not have her crew around her anymore, she seems mature. And maybe she's actually processing Cedric's death correctly. But it did seem like she wanted to talk to Harry about something. Not like, I have such a crush on you, Harry.
Yeah, 'cause she
But
just
like
kinda came out of
something
nowhere.
else. I didn't think it was going to be Cedric, though.
There is something I think she is obviously still processing certain things about Cedric's death, but I think there's something that we get for Cho and for Luna in this chapter that they're almost, I don't want to say like too mature, but I think I was mentioning this a long time ago in one of the beginning podcasts, but people who experience trauma when they're younger, for some reason they mature quicker. I remember talking about this girl who her mom had postpartum depression and she was 6 or 7. And when I interact with that girl right now, she's like probably like 12. How she communicates and how she speaks to people is just head and shoulders more than anybody else I've seen for her age. She just knows how to communicate, knows how to like behave and act. And I feel like the same might be true for Cho. Like she is still processing through things. I think she's going to deal with things. But even before that, she was very sure of herself. When she comes up to Harry, there's something so, I don't know why, but there's something so attractive about confidence like that. And she just seems to have confidence. She's like walks up to Harry. She wants to talk about something else probably, but even the confidence, she's not surrounded by her gang of people. Like one of my favorite moments that she has in Goblet of Fire is when Harry walks up to her to ask her and she's surrounded by a bunch of girls and they're all giggling and Cho isn't giggling. She's just like focused in on what's going to happen. That shows a lot of maturity there, I think. And I think she's very mature in this. And I think Luna is very mature as well. And that she just like, I'm maybe really immature because we're talking about peckers and all this other stuff. But even the fact of they laugh when they think something's funny. They're serious when they think there is a time to be serious. So I think they're good at compartmentalizing things maybe.
What were you going to say, Jen?
No, I was going to say Luna and Harry would be a good match too, because she kind of just, I don't know, romantically, but a match because she just reassures him with certain things. Like, oh yeah, I see that too.
Yeah.
Don't worry, you're not crazy. Like, just
Unless they're
matter
related.
of fact. What?
Unless they're related. I thought maybe that's why they could both see things.
But he couldn't see it before, and then he could. And she's younger.
But she just matured faster. She's a woman.
We have to get this on repeat and just play it constantly with the two of you.
I feel like Luna has experienced loss. And even as you were saying it, I already assumed she had lost one of her parents because of her approach. And it wasn't like something I consciously thought through.
Wait, time out. You think Luna has experienced loss?
Yeah, loss in her life. And that's part of what makes her so mature.
Wow.
Like, just because she's too confident, too independent, like some element of her upbringing was her having to raise herself. Maybe even younger siblings. Because this maturity is just like, it's well beyond her years. So it could just be magical. I don't know, like, just who she is. Totally cool. But I think that would lead into the whole seeing the horses. We don't know why, but she's always been able to see them. Maybe
Wait,
it's just something
hold on.
inherently
So
in her.
that relates to seeing the horses?
No, I wasn't sure if it was because I just mentioned that maybe the reason is because she's more mature. Like if there was something inherently in her, like genetically, that like, hey, at a certain age, you start to see more things as a wizard as you mature.
So
and I
Harry
thought,
is starting to mature now?
Yeah, like Harry reached that point like this year, maybe where he reached that, but then Luna was already maturing faster, so she had been able to see those horses for a while. But now I'm like, it sounds too weird. I feel like it's more likely something else. But what?
But it's just weird also the whole concept that like there have always been these horses, but no one on Hogwarts like talks about, oh yeah, like these carriages are actually drawn by horses. And
Yeah.
if you can see them, that means you have the eye, or you can, I don't know, have these special powers or whatever.
Yeah.
So let us know, and then we'll put you in a special class and you can learn about it. Like
Yeah,
I
for
just,
sure.
If anyone ever did say that, you know that Harry and Ron were in the back of the class passing notes, not paying attention.
Yeah.
And so maybe if Harry
Yeah,
had
that
said this to
wouldn't be
Hermione
me.
or Ron, like, then they'd be like, oh my goodness, don't you remember they said that at the beginning? Our first year, that was part of orientation or something.
why doesn't it, that's what's so annoying. Just tell your friends what you're seeing and what's
And
going
you're
through your
dreaming.
mind. I don't
What you're
understand.
dreaming, the dream journal.
It is super frustrating,
It is maddening.
but I guess I can.
He was like, I'm not going to
understand,
tell
too.
them anything. I was like, Harry, when will you ever learn?
Wait, Jen, you said you can understand? Do you act the same? I mean, I think all of us kind of do.
To some degree, certainly.
That we all are you. Yes. Yep.
Wait, so you guys are talking about what these horses are. Why can Harry and Luna see them and no one else can?
Yeah.
That was a later question in this chapter, one of the last ones. But why can they see them? What is going on here?
They're dark. The bat-like
They're like
wings.
Dementors, but like horses in a way. I felt like.
What if it has to do with experiencing death? Like Harry, could it be as simple as
Would've
touching a dead body or
Already
something?
seen it though.
No, not seen, like experienced. Like Harry,
So his baby years didn't count. The one he was an infant. That's what I keep going back and forth with. 'Cause I
that's
was
fair.
thinking-
That's fair. But he was holding Cedric's dead body. Not when he died, though. Or could it have been exposure to certain dark magic? Because he was in that fight with Voldemort. It
But
did
he's
something.
also been in before and he's
Yeah.
never seen it. That's
Yeah,
why
you're
I
right,
keep
from the very
going back
beginning.
and forth because every time I want to say something
There's
like
always
you're
something
saying,
like
and I'm
that
like,
with-
but he would have seen it earlier. The only thing I was thinking is that Voldemort is like more full power, so maybe his connection, you know how like we think or we've been saying they
Yeah.
maybe share powers, and maybe Voldemort has this seeing power. Can you know we talking about he could read people's minds maybe or whatever he sees, and maybe Luna has that, and Harry's now getting.
So that would be why Luna is looking at people in the eyes all the time. Because I was thinking that a little bit too. Still thinking about why Dumbledore and Harry can't lock eyes. Like maybe if they did, Harry would see more than he should into Dumbledore. But if that's the case, why isn't Harry seeing anything else when he's looking at people or Ron or anyone else?
Because they don't have anything to hide.
So you can only see what people are hiding? Maybe.
They're hiding the horses that pull the carriages, so it looks magical. I don't know.
But I do like the idea of Luna being able to like read minds because of the way she intently stares at everyone. And that would give her a lot of confidence if you know what everyone's thinking. And then maybe that would make you not really care what anyone's thinking because you realize how much nobody is being truly honest.
That's true. I also, totally different topic.
Yeah.
The Quibbler was like exactly what we wanted, like something complete opposite of, what the heck is it called?
Daily Prophet.
Thank you. It was like giving crap to Fudge
Yeah.
and then making Sirius not look like a monster, right? In so many ways.
Yeah.
And And then why did they have to flip it, the Quibbler, upside down?
There was
For
something where
architect?
if you look at runes or
Yeah,
something
it's the
upside down.
runes.
Oh, that's right.
But I have a feeling there's more to it. Did I spend about 20 minutes
Oh
with my book
my
upside down? Yes. No, it wasn't 20 minutes, but I was like, if Luna's reading it upside down, then by golly, I'm going to.
Oh my goodness.
So good.
I'm like,
That reminds
You
me of
can
when you
see
looked in
dead
the mirror and
horses.
tried to read that.
Yeah.
And you literally looked in the mirror, but you missed it because you're like, it doesn't make
any sense. It took me another like 2
Mirror of
chapters to
Erised.
realize that. Only when I read Erised alone. But this, I'm like, it just doesn't make sense. First of all, Luna and her dad, like, I just can't imagine Luna's father being TMZ. I just can't imagine it. He's chasing down wizard celebrities or like writing ridiculous articles about stuff. I'm like, no way. This is a secret code for the resistance. They're reading these articles. They're like communicating with people, sending messages. Luna is reading what her dad is writing because it's upside down and you can like get some message out of it.
Wait, her dad writes it?
Well, I don't know who actually does the writing, but like her dad is the editor.
Yeah.
I missed all that, I guess.
So that's why she got a little offended when Hermione was like, oh, that thing's garbage.
Yeah.
But again, I'm like, we don't know a lot about Luna. She's not reading tabloids. That much I can say with confidence. Or maybe she's just supporting her father. We could say that. But like, there's more to
No,
this.
she's so
and I
blunt.
wanted to find it so bad. I'm like, all these stinking things. I was trying to break it down. I was like, nope, can't find it.
Oh, that would be cool.
Wait, out of all these articles, so that were in the Quibbler, there's a few. Here, I'm going to name them to you. Which one would you want to read out of all these? The first one, how far will Fudge go to gain Gringotts? Number 2, corruption in the Quidditch League, how the tornadoes are taking control. Number 3, secrets of the ancient runes revealed. Or number 4, Sirius Black, villain or victim. Great titles for all of those.
Yep. Who doesn't want to know what the secret is, though?
Wait,
But-
the secret runes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the
secret
first one I'm going to read.
And then Fudge, I just want to hear all the nasty stuff
Yeah.
about him.
You know what? Maybe.
Where were you right now?
Oh, sorry. I just did my own
Somewhere
place.
else.
I know.
I want to read the ancient runes revealed. But I think the content of the articles means nothing, and that's why they're complete garbage. And the titles of the articles is what they're trying to communicate. So that way you publish this whole thing, and they're trying to get a message out to people, and nobody would read or think too much into the titles of the articles because you can throw everyone off with how tabloidy the content is, but you can still send a message to your people because the messages, like the titles of these articles are actually pretty clear. Like there's corruption in the Quidditch League. Cool. The secrets of the ancient runes are revealed. I don't exactly know what that would mean. Is Bill involved? Does this have to do with a weapon that Voldemort could use? I don't know. Sirius Black, villain or victim. They're just saying, hey, hold up. We actually don't know yet.
Yeah.
Let's hold up people, part of the
Is
resistance.
he a singer? Is he the leader
Was he
of
part of the
Hobgoblins? or the-
Hobgoblins? Yeah. Why do I feel like that's come up before?
Stubby Boardman, lead singer of the Hobgoblins.
I feel like they were mentioned in a previous book.
I think they were, someone listened to the Hobgoblins or someone like that or
yeah.
something like that. I think it was briefly mentioned. That's another thing JK is good at, just mentioning things here and there, getting your attention on
Yep.
things. Even this, one of the articles is about the tornadoes. I would definitely read that too because I love corruption in the Quidditch League. And then she mentions the tornadoes later when Cho is a fan.
Yeah.
I love that. She's so good at that stuff.
Wait, Kristen didn't say which one she would want to read.
Oh, the runes.
Ancient Runes Revealed.
Yeah.
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 Maybe Bill wrote the article.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's a contributing writer onto that one. Yeah, someone said the Quibbler is the equivalent of the National Enquirer, which I feel like is kind of true. It's like known as a trash publication.
What's the
But-
Daily Prophet equivalent to?
Like the New York Times. Or I mean, it had repute, but it depends on what you think of it. Could be the New York Times, could be at the Atlantic. At least it's like a reputable news outlet, and maybe they're not reputable anymore. So maybe they don't have a comparison really.
Well, I guess everyone is believing it like that.
I know. Yeah. There is another part of this article where they say Cornelius Fudge, he even cooks goblins in pie. Do you think that Cornelius Fudge is secretively doing that? Is this article right? Like, yeah, maybe this is super tabloid. We know the serious article is way off base. But could it be possible that Cornelius Fudge is really that evil, maybe more evil than Voldemort, and he's cooking goblins in pies? You ever seen Sweeney Todd?
Yeah, it's been a while. No. Wait, is that what he did with people? He put them in pies?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I don't remember that part. I remember the cutting people,
Yep.
but
I remember.
I don't know why though.
not a movie
I don't remember
watched.
why he killed them, but I just remember them.
Yeah.
He'd given them a haircut, chop chop.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
there was a meat pie downstairs.
Yeah.
Shop.
Yeah. Yuck.
Barber shop upstairs, meat shop on the first floor.
oof.
Or maybe that's the movie version.
You know what? I don't think Fudge is that evil, but I wish I knew a little bit more about goblins.
I do.
Like, no, I do think he's evil. I'm not even going to say evil yet. I still think of him as being just scared. But he's doing a lot of really dumb stuff because he's so scared. I haven't seen evil yet.
Yeah, that's a great point. And someone on our subreddit had a whole post devoted to this because they said that Fudge reminded them of Neville Chamberlain before World War II, when there's a time of peace, and then all of a sudden this evil dictator comes up, and you almost ignore it because you don't want to frighten the peace. You don't want to mess up the peace at all. So you plug your ears. You're not really a great leader for some things until that stuff happens, and then you have to jump into action here. I thought that was an apt comparison right there. He doesn't seem pure evil yet, unless he's cooking goblins and pies. He seems fearful.
Would a goblin pie do something for a
I
wizard?
thought you were going to say, would a goblin pie taste good?
That was
Well, I think obviously it would. No, I'm just
obviously
thinking,
it would.
in this,
What does
I'm,
that mean?
I'm making a joke because I don't think goblins would taste good at all. They don't seem meaty
They
enough.
got coins,
Like
so
they'd be stringy, gamey meat, I'm sure. But in the wizarding world, would goblin blood be something? Maybe it's like a Lord of the Rings thing. Would it be like black and gross or whatever? But like, do magical creatures have inherent power that you can absorb through consuming them to some degree? So that's what I'm thinking. Like, if Fudge is doing this, is he absorbing goblin power? Is he like cooking them up, eating them up, and then getting stronger? I don't know.
Like unicorn blood? Like goblin blood could be something?
Right. There could be more other kinds of powers. If we're talking about reading minds, I was like, maybe you drink goblin blood, and that's an ingredient to be able to read people's minds.
Ooh.
Because then you make a couple goblin pies, and that becomes your mind reading stuff.
I love how in-depth you are taking this. Every word has some secret meaning, and you have to dissect it.
Yep.
You would write a very good Quibbler on Harry Potter. We should do that, actually. That'd be kind of fun. Like, put all of our theories down, create like a whole Quibbler magazine. You got to read it upside down in order to get get all the clues.
The hidden meanings.
There's a funny moment that happens in this too, where Hermione, we just talked about this, but Ron is talking about the Quibbler. He goes, "Anything good in there?" asked Ron as Harry closed the magazine. "Of course not," said Hermione scathingly, before Harry could answer. "The Quibbler's rubbish, and everyone knows that." "Excuse me," said Luna, her voice suddenly lost its dreamy quality. "My father's the editor." Yikes. Have you guys ever been embarrassed like that, where you've like done something or said something and someone's in the room where they're like, "Hey"?
Oh, so many times, probably.
Yeah, I told at
blocked
least
them
one
out.
story on the podcast like that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think of any others.
What was the one that you told?
Oh, that was with my friend Kyle about 9/11 because I mentioned a comment on his uncle, and then he's like, "That's my uncle." I was like, "Oh my goodness, I'm an idiot." But I'm sure I've done that many times, and I'm blocking it out so I can sleep at night.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. I was like a teenager, I think, and someone was at our house. I think I was at dance, and I came in and they had eaten, and there was a whole spread of food on the table, and there was one thing that like wasn't touched, and I was like, well, that wasn't a hit. And the woman who came brought that. My mom was like, just go to your room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm like I said, I blocked it out, but it was definitely something like I just blurted it out.
I did that over Parker, Jeff's house actually once. You know Parker too, which is wild. I was over his house and we were about to go downstairs and grab dinner, and Parker was like, I think my mom said that she ordered dinner, so I'm excited for that. We got downstairs and there was like broccoli casserole, something like that. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe they ordered broccoli casserole from somewhere. And I started eating it, and it was not good. I did not like it. And so Parker's mom is sitting there, and she goes, how do you guys like it? And I just flat out be like, oh, I don't like this at all, because I'm thinking in my head that, it's from another place.
Yes.
And her face just goes red. I like an embarrassed, and I felt so bad. And she's like, oh, I gotta amend the recipe or something like that. Maybe I did something wrong. And I realized that she cooked it, and I was like, no, I'm so sorry. Yeah. I felt so bad.
And then you ate the rest of it.
Yeah. I was like crying, eating the rest of it. It was not good though. Okay. There's another really interesting aspect of this chapter where they walk in and they talk about Hagrid not being there. Where is Hagrid? They walk out of the train and Hagrid is not there picking up first years.
I think Hermione said it, and I agree with her, that he's out still doing the mission Dumbledore sent him on. I forget where, out east somewhere, we suspected talking to the Giants, hanging out with Eminem, getting those Giants onto the side of good.
Traveling with Maxine.
Yep.
Having himself a good time.
So they're still out doing their
Honeymoon.
mission. Could he be? Could they?
Maybe.
Have
Little
gotten
Giants
married
trip,
secretly.
and while he's over there, mingling with his people, they get engaged, get married, honeymoon, etc. Could be.
I didn't even think
But
of
I
it.
feel like it all started with the mission. Yeah.
I thought
Could Hagrid
Snape
fast travel?
would be gone.
Wait, what? You thought he would be? Snape?
Yeah, I was surprised. I know it's a little earlier, but I was like surprised that he was teaching. I was like, how did he finish whatever? His task seemed to be like the hardest or most difficult or most sacrificial
Yeah.
from that last book. So then I'm like, what is he doing teaching?
So going back to that, what was Snape's task? Do you have any more theories on that?
I don't know. I thought he was playing like double agent somehow again, but
I thought it was about the
Clearly, no.
Dementors.
like
Because
what?
those were the two things that Dumbledore said. He said
I don't remember.
Giants and Dementors, and I forget the context and how it all happened. Oh no, he was giving advice to Fudge. And he said, Fudge, you have to deal with, I think he even said the Giants, and then said you had to deal with the Dementors because they're a natural ally with Voldemort. And then when Fudge said no, he turns and says, Hagrid, mission, Snape, mission. And I feel like it would just make sense for it to be those two things that he had already told Fudge to do. And he's like, well, Fudge won't do it, I'll do it. Take care of the Giants, take care of the Dementors. But I don't know what the sacrifice would be. Like, well, dealing with the Dementors cannot be easy. Maybe had to sacrifice part of his soul to the Dementor King.
Yeah, the Dementor King. Wow.
What?
They
have a king.
Still acting. He's
right.
still acting the same. So what does that say?
Well, he's already sacrificed so much of his soul. Not much left to give.
All right, anything else in this chapter before we move on to
So
chapter
much, John.
11? There is a lot in
We
these
always
chapters.
look back
Oh my
to
Like
God.
even the dude on the one broom being advertised flew to the moon.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Did he?
could he? Because if you can be underwater with a bubble, you might be able to do spells to get to the moon.
It was in the Quibbler. Right?
Yeah, in the Quibbler, there was
Oh my
a little
gosh,
thing
you
about
need to
going
get
to the moon.
him like a quibbler. I think.
And I just thought,
There's an actual.
I had that thought at the beginning, could wizards fly to the moon? And I was like, what kind of spells could you use to get to the moon? But then,
You would love that.
yeah, I would. It'd be great. But then I also was like, it came up again because Snape was talking about some kind of moonstone, which of course could just be a fluffy earth name for some earth stone, but could also be actually from the moon.
Who said it?
It was the thing that Harry forgot to add to his potion. So I'm thinking, well, maybe people actually go to the moon.
This is the thing that's going to defeat Voldemort. Moonstones.
Moonstones.
And she hinted at it right here.
And if you set up a
And
base
he's
on the
literally
moon,
telling you the
and you
truth.
can just apparate from Earth to moon, if you could just apparate up there. You don't even need to fly. There could be a moon base on the dark side of the moon.
Wow.
Can't even see it with telescopes.
But you
from
can
here.
breathe up there, no problem.
Well, that's why it's a base. But if they do the bubble thing around their head, like
Like
the
they did in
students were
Avatar?
doing in the Triwizard Tournament, then they'd be set.
I was thinking of the squirrel from SpongeBob.
Like Sandy
For
Cheeks
real?
does underwater.
Sandy cheeks.
Was there anything else?
I have a question.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe your book doesn't say this, but what does "Are you taking the Mickey" mean?
It's
Ron said that.
yeah, it's British slang. Oh. Like, you know British rhyming slang?
No, but
So Mickey, I forget, in Australia they say this too. So it's like there was some dude's name. It's like Mickey Riss or
Is it a
Mickey
drug?
Kiss. No. Like, so the other British slang is taking the piss. If you're like, you can't be serious, you'd say, are you taking the piss? And so this, when you're taking the Mickey,
saying.
it's Mickey Riss, rhyming slang, like piss. Taking the piss. It's like,
Wait, is that in
taking
your
the
book?
piss.
Is that was that was in ours?
that phraseology was in mine. Yeah.
Really? I didn't.
What
I don't
was
remember
yours?
That.
No, same thing. Taking the Mickey.
Oh, it did
Because
say
it's
that.
like,
Okay.
I think there was another rhyme slang. Oh, blowing raspberries. Raspberry tart, fart, blowing farts. Or
Where
in
is that?
Australia, they would say,
He blows raspberries when Harry's about to go into
Yeah.
McGonagall's office.
Oh,
Blowing
because that's how it came
raspberries,
up
like when
again.
I do little kids on their
Yeah,
stomach.
right.
It's like,
But you didn't know it was British rhyming slang? Like raspberry tart?
yeah, I definitely knew that, Danny, and I am just staring, sitting in
just stuff that we know.
silence, saying,
Well, no, 'cause-
quizzing you on all of this stuff. Yeah, is he gonna get
It
it,
does-
right? Because I know.
It does come up a few times in the book, but I just think it's so fascinating. I wish people spoke like that. Because in Australia, another one they did, maybe people in the chat could give us some, but it's like they would
What's
say, you're telling a
equivalent?
porky pie, lie. You're telling a
Wow.
porky.
British people, you guys, anybody who's British on the chat
Wait,
right now,
but we
you
have
guys are cool.
nothing like this. In
Or
our
in the
language,
Oceans movies,
do we?
he says, you're in a heap of Barney. Barney rubble. Trouble.
I knew that one.
So it's like, again, it comes up a bunch because
I've
the Weasleys
literally
like
never
it.
heard about this
No.
until
Let's
right
bring
now.
it into America.
I literally
It's
thought.
so fun.
I literally
that's
thought
cool.
was
Wait,
Ron,
we have
Ron was
nothing.
asking her if she was on drugs.
I would have
That
thought.
is so great.
Again, I just kind of skipped past it. I was like, this is a weird chapter.
Wait, what's a Mickey? A Mickey? What did you say it is?
Taking a
It's-
piss? I don't know.
Yeah, like his last name was like, let's say Mickey
That's what I
Kiss.
took from that.
So he's like, you're taking a Mickey, taking the piss. That's what it's
Which is
saying.
equivalent to
Which also doesn't make sense to Americans. Like, it's like saying you can't be serious.
Why can't you just say, are you serious?
Yeah. Like you must be joking. It's like saying that maybe.
Oh.
But I think it's slightly more crude than that.
Americans don't have that level of, I don't know what it is. Like,
Smartness.
What are you trying to insult us
intelligence.
with,
No,
John?
I'm not. I'm saying that we don't have like the layers in our jokes. Our jokes are
Right.
just more plain. There's not like deep meaning.
Straightforward.
Like 5 different layers. Oh, you didn't know Barney means Barney Rubble, and Barney Rubble rhymes with trouble. You're in trouble.
Yeah, it's too far removed
know?
for me.
Yeah.
That's
To
too many
me,
steps.
I almost think of it, at least in Australia, kids never spoke like this. Dads did. It felt to me like dad jokes, not to hate on people that are doing rhyming slang, but like it felt like the kind of thing that, when you've just been speaking a language for 40 years, 50 years, and you start to get a little bored of it. So you entertain yourself by getting creative or making puns. That's why dads get so good at puns, because they're just bored speaking their language for so long. I feel like that's what rhyme slang is.
Dads.
I think that's like actually one of my favorite parts of language when you get bored of certain things. So you just make things up. Like
Yep.
one of my favorites.
I do
at
that
the
every
moment,
day.
language.
I combine
One of my
it.
favorite at the moment. I don't know if this is true in Britain, but people are saying you have Riz. You guys know what that means?
Nope.
I've heard people say that recently, and I feel like nope, I sound like
He
such an
wants
old
to guess
person not
this.
knowing. Yeah, because I did
I've
hear it in
accepted that I'm
context,
old and I
and
don't
I was
speak
like,
the lingo of the kids.
I was like, oh, I
I'm there.
remember hearing it in context and thinking, I think that's what. I forget. What is it?
It means you have charisma. Like if you're
Ooh,
talking to a
nice.
girl or you're talking to a guy and you're doing it real smooth, he's got riz. Charisma. Chariz. I think that's so good. I love
Interesting.
that. Like small little abbreviations.
That's right.
of things.
Like a month ago, I just learned about like, oh, you're healthy and like what
Yeah.
that means.
Yeah.
That
Does
you're
it
like,
mean you're healthy?
Like you're not
No.
sick anymore, right?
yeah.
No more
It's gonna go
COVID.
down a.
Yeah, I don't even know. What does it
You
mean?
don't know either?
If I say she is healthy,
I mean,
Yeah,
like it's
I'm
with
glad
context.
he's
Like
saying
Riz, I'm
it.
like it's a good thing. I want to have Riz
Yeah.
healthy. Like I want to be healthy. So what is it?
You
Like
do
a really
wanna be
attractive?
healthy. Yeah.
yeah.
Ah, nice.
But they say that.
I'm so old.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
What?
Okay, so someone on the
No, I
chat
was
says
like,
taking
tell
a
me about
piss
it.
is
I
another way
feel
of
the
saying
same.
you're just making fun of someone. So in this, they're just making fun of her. Are you taking a piss? Like, are you crazy? Like you're saying, Danny. All this British stuff we don't understand. Thank you. I'm so glad that we have so much
Oh
British.
man, in the chat is so
our, yeah,
helpful.
our British contingent on the chat is coming through strong right now. So thank you all. It's funny how a lot of this stuff doesn't translate, like pecker. I'm still gonna go off on that.
How many times can we say it in the podcast?
Let's see
We're
if
gonna
we
get
can
censored.
happen.
This one has to have an E right next to it, right?
It's a
gosh.
censor?
I did like Luna's quote. Don't worry, you're just as sane as I am.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That is a good one.
Cute.
And Harry like takes comfort in that, and he's like, "Oh wait, crap. I don't know if she's sane." Okay. Ooh, Wes just farted, so
Come on,
I did
Wes.
not feed him anything
Ooh,
tonight.
I know.
But it's perfect timing because now any of us could, and we can blame Wes.
Yeah, but what is this saying, Danny? What's it saying
So
for
Danny's gonna be
farting?
gassy tonight.
You just
Oh,
said
for
it.
raspberries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
Are you guys warm at all? Can I open a
Let
window?
out our
sweating.
raspberries.
You can
sweating?
open the window.
I'm gonna crack a window open because it smells and. Sorry, Wes.
If a bird flies in here, that'd be great.
Yeah, we can get our owls.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And one flew into my house.
Owl post.
Yep.
Sirius thinks that Dumbledore can be wrong because Dumbledore told him to stay at Order of the Phoenix headquarters and he left. I just thought that gave us a little bit of insight into the people who are close to Dumbledore that still are willing to not listen to him.
I don't.
I felt like he just had a defiant nature.
Yeah, but even that, like the fact that like so many people when Dumbledore speaks, it like his word is law.
Yeah.
And you don't need to know the reasons, but he said it, so you listen. So for Sirius then to be like, nah, I'm gonna go anyway. I feel like
Yeah, we
that-
don't know what happened because he got on the train.
we don't even know if Sirius made it back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I hope he did.
Is he alive?
It was foolish, and he was making way too much of a ruckus. At the train station, it literally said it drew people's attention. Like people were looking at it, like staring at him
doing that?
because it was funny as he chases the train. I'm
Mrs.
like,
Weasley's like, can you act like a dog? 'Cause
like, and he was acting
hugged
like a
him.
dog, but like,
No, it's
be a
the-
well-behaved dog or something.
I thought it
more
was like he
subtle.
literally like hugged Harry. And
Well,
it
that
looked
that too. Yeah. Oh, you're right. You're right.
like a
But
human
then he went too
hug.
far the other way and starts chasing a train like an amateur. Like if anyone didn't notice him before, they did then. I feel like he should blend.
It is very cute, though. I have to admit.
It is
Dog
very
owner,
cute, yeah.
There's one section when I have to cross the street after I take Wes for a walk, and I have to take him home. There's it's like 2 blocks that I take him home, and he knows in this section that it's like time to have fun if he wants on his leash. So he will try to grab his leash. I'll like put it up in the air and I'll grab it, and it's right where a bunch of cars are because there's a light there, and I'll like look at the people in their car and they're like all looking out the window, like laughing at him. I'm like providing entertainment for these people.
That's
So I'm
funny.
like, Sirius doing this. It's kind of cute. He's providing entertainment, but he's trying way too much attention to himself because he's
Yeah.
Sirius Black and he should be on the run. Anyway, chapter 11.
I don't know. Danny's gonna look back
I
at
know.
his notes.
Well, I'm gonna look back
what
to
did
try
we
and
miss?
figure out if there's anything else in
Upside down. You gotta
the
look at it
Quibbler.
upside down again.
I literally wrote my notes upside down in here because I was like taking them.
Danny, people are saying you are a Potterhead right now. They're saying that's about both of you guys, but you guys are officially
full on.
Potterheads.
It's
now.
awesome.
And someone called me earlier in the chat. Someone called me a A whomping willow hugger, I think, rather than a tree hugger.
Oh, that's funny.
So I like that. I'm gonna take
Wait,
that.
hugger?
Yeah, like a tree hugger. I love that
You don't hug.
song. Yeah, I don't hug. Actually, that's true.
That's why I said that
Good point. Good point.
way. You're a whomping willow.
No. I'm just a whomping willow.
You are tall.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Never mind. I'm not even gonna bring that up.
You asked for it.
I know, for real.
We're on the same level tonight too, so watch out.
Yeah, I know, for real. You're coming at
We
me.
don't have to talk or to make eye contact.
Okay, chapter 11, guys. The Sorting Hat's new song. Give me a very quick summary of this.
Kristen?
Oh boy,
has
this
a
is
good
not
one.
quick. The Sorting Hat sings a new song that contains a warning for the school to stay united within. We find out that Grubbly Plank will stay on his care of magical creatures professor, and Toad Lady is the defense against the dark arts professor.
Hey, Danny, you got that prediction right.
All right. I forget how many names I listed. Right? Yeah.
She was in there. Dumbledore makes a speech where Umbridge interrupts, and then in the dorms, Seamus and Harry get into a yelling match.
Wait, are you keeping track of predictions? Because that sounded like he has 1 and I have 0.
No.
Well, they would, if anyone does it, they would go back pretty far.
Yeah. Trust me.
It doesn't start now. Started from the
I
beginning.
really do need to crowdsource that and try to write all your predictions down so we can actually keep a tally. But you guys, on like minor things, if we kept a tally of all the minor things, it would be pretty darn close. You guys you're up in numbers too. It's not just like 10 to 10. It's like your predictions are like 50 to 50. Yeah, you guys
and that's
make
why
so much predictions.
there'd be gray area on every
Yeah.
single one of these, but that's what it's fun.
Yeah.
Just throwing
Yeah.
a million things out there.
Okay, in this chapter, Luna says that Hagrid's a bad teacher. Is she right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was happy that Grubbly Plank was coming back. She was genuinely a good teacher. She brought a unicorn with a baby.
I know.
Like, she's
I would've
good
loved
at
that.
this. Like, she is genuinely a good teacher, it
Could have been a
seems.
unicorn. Over the weekend, Dave and Buster's, there's a ride. You can either drive as a motorcyclist or you could run the race as a unicorn.
Really?
And I almost did the unicorn,
Why'd
but
you?
because I went, you know how someone's getting off and then
Yeah.
you go on it and then you kind of just assumed their
Yeah.
role. So I was waiting for the chance to change to a unicorn, but it didn't get it, and I was really upset.
The whole podcast, we're going to go back to Dave and Buster's so we
Yeah.
can do a unicorn ride.
Yeah, look out for it. It's cool, and then we could all say we did it together.
We'll live stream it.
Only because that's my favorite animal.
Who do you think is the best teacher at Hogwarts right now? Not right now, just that they've had. Even
I think it was
liked
Dean who said
Lupin.
Lupin. Yeah.
Oh,
And
wait, you
Jenn.
meant in general?
no, yeah.
Defense against the dark arts, or the whole?
just teachers. I mean, so you're right. So Lupin, you think Lupin is probably the best?
I thought he did a good
Yeah, he was
job
great, right?
because he was helping them. I didn't think it was dangerous what he was doing, and I think
Yeah.
he was actually giving them skills. And then Harry would have been dead.
Yeah.
So true. You're right.
Without the
Yep.
Patronus, and that's what I thought he was going to say to Professor Umbridge. Well, if it wasn't for Lupin teaching me how to do the Patronus, I
He
wouldn't
would
be
have died
here.
like 3
Yeah.
times by Dementors
Yeah.
during a Quidditch match out in the Forbidden Forest and at his home.
Yes.
Insane.
Wait, why would
Wait,
I just had this really
Yeah, I mean-
random thing, which maybe we brought up and is totally off topic. But I was wondering, why is the Dementors always want Harry? They're like going to like give him the kiss of death, and he hasn't done anything.
what do you mean he hasn't done anything?
Like they don't automatically, like at least when they were in the school, they weren't automatically going out to anyone who was like out of line to give the kiss of
Yeah,
death.
like they
it was
weren't-
like
Yeah.
Harry.
Yeah, from the train and everything.
Yeah.
Always Harry. Yep. And
Is
we
it
still
a
don't know why.
Voldemort connection?
Well, they
That's what I was
are.
thinking.
They do have natural alliances, so yeah, they're suspicious.
Because if he's a little bit in Harry somehow.
Oh, you think they're like after Voldemort, like in a
No, like aren't they after?
not in a bad
evil?
way, but just like they're feeling that. Oh, you're still thinking of them as being attracted to evil? Maybe I don't view them quite that way. I think of them as like almost
way
being
you
attracted to good.
What?
Like, because they're drawn to happy memories. That's what they're feeding
So the
off
happier
of.
the person, the more attracted they are to that person.
So I was thinking of it
But
like,
then how do they? I don't get how they're going after like Sirius Black, or like they immediately gave a kiss of death to the Crouch Junior. How is he happy?
but I think everyone has some kind of happiness in them, right?
And for those kind of things, they're commissioned to go after those people. But maybe just in general, when they're floating around, they're going for the happiest people. But they had to find Sirius. That was their job. And then all of a sudden, this Dementor, I don't know if they recognize him or what, but sees Barty Crouch Jr. and realizes that it's Barty Crouch Jr. and realizes that, wait, this person should be in Azkaban.
Nice.
Let me kiss you.
Yeah.
Okay, the Sorting Hat sings some new songs though, and people on the chat want me to sing them. But
Oh, I thought they wanted the kiss again.
also, I think McGonagall is a great teacher. Someone said Lockhart, which I think is wild.
But in some ways,
How?
a lot of people are learning from his books.
Yeah, okay, true. He's a good writer.
Yeah, but he stole that. That's
Yeah.
not
But
real.
they probably learned.
You know what?
Crouch Jr. was a good teacher too, a little bit.
Yeah. I think what's weird, I feel like Snape, the way he like threatens them to get it right,
Yeah.
their potion, like you're going to kill someone and you guys are going to give it to each other
Yeah.
and whoever dies, like I feel like it's not the greatest approach, but I feel like you're really concentrating
matter of
on.
life.
Everyone
and death.
does pay attention in his class.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Like they don't in any other class, but in his they do.
Harry said that he hated Snape was his least favorite class.
Yeah.
And in my head, I'm like, I wasn't very good at chemistry, but I actually enjoyed going to chemistry because it's like fun. You get to
Yeah.
experiment with things. I think potions would be even more fun. Even if you have a terrible
Yeah.
teacher
Yep.
who Evanesco's your potion away, even if they like vanish it away, I still think it'd be so fun to like try these things. Like the draft of peace, like removes your anxiety. Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
I know.
Yep. Could
Give me
use
that.
today.
Like I think that would be fantastic.
And then sometimes I'm wondering though if he's making these in bulk sometimes, because I feel like sometimes Snape is like making potions that are going to be used for things for Harry or for someone.
Like McGonagall can slip the anxiety one into her ginger snaps to feed.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Exactly. She's like, you need another one.
Have
Yeah,
another
seriously.
one. Drug up Harry. Like every teacher seems to
Wow, that's a great headcanon, guys. She is secretively drugging.
I thought that's
Harry.
that was common knowledge. Like I thought
do. Common knowledge. What are you, nuts,
Didn't
John?
it say that?
It's almost right there in the text.
Jen is a step above my Potterhead nerddom. She's like, John, that you're stupid
It's
for
so
not knowing.
well, I
obvious.
knew it was Crumb, so with Hermione.
That's so true. Keep farting. Oh my goodness, that's so good. I do think Snape is a good teacher. Have any of you? I don't know if you've seen this movie because this is a brutal movie. The movie Whiplash. It's one of my favorites. It's about a drum
It's
teacher
probably
who's
depressing.
yeah, well, kind of. Yeah, it's a little depressing. I like depressing movies. Whiplash. It's one of my favorite movies though because it's a drum teacher and he thinks that this is the line that he says: the two worst words in the English language are "good job." So he drives his students mad, but it's like these students. Some of them, he's looking for the next greatest jazz musician of all time. And he said only the greats, they're born through adversity. They're born through someone pushing them to a point where they're almost mad and they're almost crazy. And the movie is all about that. Fantastic film. Recommend that highly. Someone's putting great lines in here for the movie. There's a really great scene in it I got to show you guys maybe after where someone's not keeping his tempo and he just goes nuts. It's a fantastic movie. I got to watch it with you guys. But I feel like Snape is kind of like that. If they're creating these potions, they could literally kill someone. So you have to be serious about that, you know? So I kind of think I'm with you, Jen. Snape is kind of a good teacher, I think. He's a little nuts, but
Especially that class, it would be so easy. You're like, oh, I missed a little ingredient. Like, how do you? Yeah.
like Harry missed an ingredient and it isn't going to work. It could actually be deadly for, someone to drink something like that.
But everything just appears on the board magically, I think Snape sabotaged him.
Really?
Yep, I think Harry was paying attention. I think that either wasn't on the board or Snape did something
'cause
so
you're like Harry.
only Harry couldn't see it. Like, I feel like he was setting up for Harry to fail. Granted, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. He would have found something to
That
yell at
part was
Harry.
relatable though, because I was thinking about my baking, and there have been I love
my
baking, but you
You're like,
have to
"This was
follow
not
line by
on."
line. And I have made something where I've made it a million, made it before, and I'm like, I like skipped that one line.
Yeah.
And it makes all the
So it can
difference.
happen.
Literally,
That's fair. It's
I
fair.
have so much to say about that. Recipes are made so poorly. So poorly. First of all,
So true.
my favorite website is Just the Recipe, where you skip past the 20 paragraphs of their life story that these
yeah.
people write.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, just give me the freaking recipe. Great website, Just the Recipe. And on top of that, if there's one step, don't put 4 others in the same paragraph. I don't care if there's 45 steps to a recipe. Give me 45 steps to a recipe so I know 1, 2, 3, 4,
I know
5.
because
Right.
you messed those up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harry forgot the 3rd step of part 2 or whatever it was. Like, no, just put those on a separate line. 1,
Right.
2, 3, 4.
Yes.
Add the moonstones. Next step. Stir the moonstones. Next step. Stop stirring the
Yup.
moonstones. Literally like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hold my hand and walk me through the whole
Yeah.
process,
Right.
you know?
Well, that's how you learn.
Yeah, for
I
real.
feel like especially like a first time,
yeah.
and maybe expert too. Just like break it down.
Yes. Oh, I know. Okay, anyway. This is what the Sorting Hat says. There's 2 lines I want to talk about, or a collection of lines, stanzas, if you will. Thus, the houses and their founders retained friendship firm and true. So Hogwarts worked in harmony for several happy years, but then discord crept among us, feeding on our faults and fears. The houses that, like pillars 4, had once held up our school, now turned upon each other and, divided, sought to rule. Do you think that it was just a parting of the ways for the founders, or that there was something deeper that was going on, and there was a real reason why they split?
Deeper. I just don't know what.
I always thought deeper, but now I'm not so sure anymore. In some ways, it feels to confirm it was something deeper. Like even the Sword of Gryffindor, I'm like, these houses have like things to them. They're like of substance. Like there were some battles in the past, but it's just weird to say like they never dreamt that they might be divided. They were such friends. Like, well, that's not really how I was picturing them.
Which would make it seem like there was something deeper to me.
Yeah, I guess you're right. So something had to come in
Also-
and break them apart.
Because why would just one of them be obsessed with purebloods? They would
You
have
think
all
that
gone
was the
into.
thing?
I don't know. That's a part of it, I think. Because Slytherin is the only one that talks about pureblood wizards and witches, and he seems to be the only one that cared. Versus the other ones were just going by their talents, not like their
Yeah.
bloodline.
That would be a good thing to divide over, sure. And only Slytherin left and then came back? How did it say?
I don't remember.
They only took pureblood wizards of great cunning.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories about the founders.
And then
what
it
they went
says
through.
just
But
like
then
him.
discord crept among us. feeding
So
on our
Slytherin
faults
was
and fears.
was Slytherin the head guy, the only pureblood though? Because I don't know the reason it's saying like just like him.
Yeah, but the
Wait,
Weasleys are
couldn't
still
it-
pure blood.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is like, wouldn't it say just like that? Like if it was all of them,
Yeah, right.
it would
right.
be a different phrasing. Or just like him. Like then I was thinking of Voldemort. I don't know. Like
Oh, okay.
then the what is it? The half-blood prince. The bloodline of the Slytherin heir.
Yeah,
I thought he
heir of
was
Slytherin.
full-blooded, pure-blooded. No.
I don't know. We don't know enough about that yet. But Voldemort isn't pure blood.
Well, we don't
Harry isn't
think.
pure blood. Maybe. Anything's possible still. But we
All these
are led
half-bloods.
to believe,
I think Harry's full.
but not in Voldemort's eyes.
Why?
Because Voldemort says he isn't.
But what if Harry is what Voldemort is can never be? The best wizard and he's full pure blood. And Voldemort
Oh, you mean
is,
only to Voldemort's? Yeah, I got you.
What?
Like it sounds like you're saying full pureblood wizards could be better wizards than half
In his mind, in Voldemort's mind?
yeah.
So maybe that's why
So he's trying to make up lies about Harry. Could be. But I'm still not totally sold on Harry's mom.
Yeah. Okay.
I got to know more first.
We will discuss as time goes on.
But yeah, it does say they turned upon each other and divided. But that whole thing, I want to know more. I want to know more. But Harry never pays attention in History of Magic. So
And
he never read History of Hogwarts.
And he doesn't ask
does-
questions.
He even said in History of Magic, this would be interesting if it was taught by someone good.
Because they're talking about Great Wars.
Giant
Also-
Wars. So good.
Oh. Didn't even think about it. I just
I
thought
feel like
in size.
This
It's even better.
That was funny. You said they were talking about Great Wars.
Oh, man. Giant Wars. Harry, pay attention so
Jen,
I
what do
can
you got?
learn.
I just got that. Nice. No, I feel like the Sorting Hat like dissed both of you guys, saying the Hufflepuffs are just whoever's left over.
Wait.
I don't know,
That's what
but I
it
don't
said.
think that it would
It,
say that.
Kind
The
of did.
Sorting Hat loves us, so
I just said the Sorting Hat dissed, not me. I was repeating it.
no. But I took that as a good thing. Hufflepuff took all the rest. We don't reject people like that. We welcome all.
And
Yeah.
taught
I literally,
them
I was
all
like
she
proud of
knew.
that. I was like,
That's the house and the founder.
That's kind of where their loyalty comes from. We're like the dregs of the school. No one really cares about us. So we band together and we fight.
yes. Wait, is Luna a Hufflepuff?
She's a Ravenclaw.
Ravenclaw.
'cause
oh
she's-
yeah. She's
John is really
smarty pants.
passionate about
I am so proud of you of Hufflepuff. We're the neglected
Yeah.
house.
And maybe that's a good like thing. If you're reading this and you thought of the Hufflepuff line as being a bad thing, you're not a Hufflepuff. But I read that, I was like,
Yeah.
we take the rest.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
we welcome
Yeah.
all.
Well, I'm Gryffindor, so
I took it as a good thing.
you did?
Yeah,
I did.
I didn't.
Welcome to Puff.
Yeah, you definitely tested Puff sometimes.
Okay, there's another line that I want to talk
mean
about.
one then. Whatever.
Yeah. So you're a Ravenclaw.
Yeah.
I'm a Hufflepuff. Danny's a Hufflepuff. Jen's a Gryffindor. Just so you guys know in the chat.
Oh yeah,
People are
nice. That
asking.
doesn't come up in a bit.
Someone is asking if you're a Ravenclaw. You have a little Ravenclaw.
I don't know. I took it twice and I got Gryffindor.
But it's because you like chocolate frogs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There needs to be a more comprehensive test than that. It's not enough.
That's the first question the Sorting Hat asks you when you put it on your head. All right, chocolate frogs? Yes. Okay, Gryffindor.
That is what the pop
Wow.
sugar test is, whatever.
At Universal, there should be a sorting hat that like is
Oh my
really
gosh.
intense and asks you lots of questions. It could even be a ride and it puts you through tests.
Holy
That'd be fun.
smokes. That would be so great.
I think
Okay.
relationships would not. Never mind.
Another line that the Sorting Hat says. And now the Sorting Hat is here, and you all know the score. I sort you into houses because that is one of 4. But this year I'll go further. Listen closely to my song. Though condemned I am to split you, still I worry that it's wrong. Though I must fulfill my duty and must quarter every year, I still wonder whether sorting may not bring the end I fear. Oh, know the perils, read the signs, the warning history shows. For our Hogwarts is in danger from external deadly foes, and we must unite inside her, or we'll crumble from within. I have told you, I have warned you. Let the sorting now begin. There you go. That's the only
Nice.
part I'm singing.
That was beautiful.
What do you think of this song, and particularly these few lines? How does I mean, they talked about how the hat knows about danger, but why?
Well, what other dangers would they have been besides Voldemort, I guess?
I know. I guess in previous parts of the school, maybe when there were other dangerous things going on, the hat warned them of something.
Thanks.
But the school's been around for so long. Like, and think of it, we're learning about giant wars. We know about goblin rebellions. We know that there has been a Slytherin heir this entire time. Have they always been evil? I don't know. There was a giant dark wizard in 1945. Keep going back to that because it's awesome. So there would have been tons and tons of danger around in the world. Would it directly impact Hogwarts at some point? It has to, right?
I
Yeah, so I feel like that kind of makes sense, but we just haven't seen it. The hat gets so existential.
I took the hat very seriously.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why they didn't heed
Yeah.
the warning.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they think it's just a hat and it's singing. But I was like,
Especially
ooh,
that new professor, Umbridge.
Yeah.
Like, you just heard what she said and you still think nothing outside
real.
is...
right.
Honestly, I feel this might sound weird, but at this point, I almost feel like the hat is the only omniscient source that we know. Like, yes, Dumbledore is pretty darn close to being omniscient and knowing stuff, but I feel like the things that the hat says, I would hang on every word. Usually it's singing about, like, the founders and Gryffindors are brave and Hufflepuffs just get the rest of them, that's his song or her song. We don't know if the Sorting Hat is a male or a woman or,
What's funny also from this, when I was listening to this song, I'm like, oh, so he's not putting anyone in Slytherin. Because it was a lot about Slytherin.
Yeah. There was a lot about the divide that Slytherin had.
Yeah, so then I was like, oh, so the Sorting Hat is just going to sort into Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, and Hufflepuff and ignore Slytherin.
I thought it wasn't going to sort and refuse. That's what I wanted to see.
That would be crazy. That would
And
be
say,
wild.
you are all one house. You are all students of Hogwarts. Go.
But where are they going to sleep?
I don't know. But
What
they...
a practical question.
Yeah, it's
Great
so
one.
practical. I have no idea. But the Sorting Hat could figure that out later.
It's like going back to even Jen's original theory. Maybe
what
they
I
sort
thought
too
of.
early. Maybe they wait a year and figure out the actual person of that, and then they sort them later.
Yeah, they say, hey, you Hogwarts will provide a space for you to sleep. It's fine. And then we'll sort you later when you don't have to be as united anymore. It was Dumbledore who said also that they need to unite, right?
Yeah.
Did someone else say it?
He said the last book right at the end.
Oh,
the end of
yes,
the
that
last
was
book,
it,
yeah.
right at the end. So
Cedric.
this, again, for it to come back, I'm just like, yeah, Dumbledore and the Sorting Hat are both saying unite. You probably should.
Because they've seen it happen before, I'm sure.
Oh, know the perils. Read the signs. That's the other part that got me. Read the signs. So to me, if the Sorting Hat can read the signs, who else can? We know that
Trelawney.
Sirius could tell things were going on. Even in previous books, he was telling Harry, like, I can tell Voldemort's coming back a little bit. I'm seeing things. And then Trelawney, maybe. But there must be people at the ministry who can read the signs and know that this is not Harry lying about stuff.
Definitely Dolores.
Maybe these.
Umbridge.
Yeah, she can read the signs. Maybe these are what the people who work in the Department of Mysteries are there for. Maybe they're sitting there all day, just trying to read the signs, trying to figure out what's going on.
And divination is an owl test. I did not expect that because we don't have a lot of
Wait, it's an owl test? Oh,
yeah, like the
OWL.
OWL. Yeah.
You have to say it the right way.
yeah,
Don't know what you're talking about.
And so I always thought it was a little more fluffy than that, but they're being like quantifiably tested on it, which feels interesting.
But is that just this year? Because I don't know. I guess the way she worded it, it sounded like because of the Ministry of Magic's involvement, they have a test this year. Maybe I'm wrong.
all
It was always.
yeah. Owls are like the.
Well,
Fred and
just for
George
that
took
one
them.
class, though.
Oh,
That's
for
what I
every
was
class.
wondering.
Every class that you take, you have to take out OWLs. Owls.
I love how they say OWLs and it
Yeah.
spells out.
I know. And then, do you guys know what they take in 7th year?
The NEWTs.
Yeah, the newts.
The newts.
I love it.
Wait, is that in 7th year? I thought so, but then they mentioned something about 6th year. Yes, I am proud of it.
I don't think they don't. Nothing's in 6th year.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Maybe it was just they start learning about their career possibilities or something.
And OWLs, this is like not really that equivalent, but when they take their OWLs, their teacher then gives them the ability to, if they get a certain mark, they can take that class in 6th and 7th year. If they don't,
Right.
they're not allowed to take it anymore. So that's why Snape says he only takes students who score exceeds expectations on his OWLs. So anybody that just gets like
Yeah.
a low grade, I think the lowest grade is a T for troll.
That's
Which is great. We'll learn that later. Anybody who scores low levels, they're just not able to take potions or not able to take whatever the professor sets for it. Which to me, again, is actually wild that the course of your career could be determined by Snape's high regard for potions.
Yep.
Like, if you don't score up to his standards, then you're not going to be whatever your career you want to be.
And then if you score highly in multiple tests, how many can you major in your 6th and 7th year? You know, it just feels weird. And the twins got 3, right?
Yeah.
I'm curious what 3, but like that still seems interesting. So they're going back to school full time, 3 classes,
Also,
full focus.
Yeah, and the 6th year thing, someone brought this up, which is good. Beauxbatons takes their OWLs in 6th year rather than 5th year. So that was a determining thing. So we might have mentioned that in the podcast.
Oh,
Maybe
right.
That's what you were thinking of before. Yeah. Here is another question. Ron, when he's shoving food into his mouth like an absolute maniac, he's like not able to speak. I sympathize with him because there's times when food just tastes so good, and you know.
I was gonna say me and him are kindred spirits.
I'm actually gonna wait till Jen gets back to ask this a little practical, fun question. All right, here's the question for you guys: has there been a moment in your life where food just tasted unbelievable? Like you were so hungry and you ate that first bite and it wasn't even good, but it just melts in your mouth and you're like, oh my.
I feel like that recently
gosh.
happened to me. You start eating, and you're like, I don't even know if the food is actually this good, but
Yeah.
it's just gold.
Yeah. I had one. I was moving this. I was helping someone move all day. Didn't eat anything, and it was exhausting. We were moving massive amounts of furniture, and I wasn't really eating. I was drinking, but I wasn't really eating. I remember going home and I had extra spring rolls, and I remember heating those up and making like peanut butter sauce. And I remember eating the first bite, and literally, it was the best meal that I've ever had because I was so hungry and I was dead tired. I was like climbing up the stairs on all fours. I was so tired. And I heated them up and I ate them, and I was like, oh,
That's amazing.
these are so good. I still remember that so much.
I don't think I have one as memorable as that. But I've had times, for sure.
I'm thinking of a day in Australia where we were out on the ship that I worked on, and we all lived on the ship. And so we did our own shopping and everything. We cooked for ourselves and blah, blah, blah. But we were out doing some whale watching and a few other things. And then there was a bit of a storm, so it took us a while to get back. And it's an old sailing ship, so we had to be up in the rigging and doing all this like annoying hard work, climbing around. It takes a lot of effort. And it took way longer to get back than we thought because we were going upwind. And so we finally get back, and it had been, you know, however many hours, 10, 12 hours. You just lose track of time. We finally get the passengers off. We finally go through all the steps. We have to be like on our best behavior. And then it's dark, middle of the night. We finally tie everything up. And we go into the kitchen, and there was no food that was like ready to consume except Fruit Loops. And it was like 4 boxes of Fruit Loops or whatever it was. And we just passed them around in bowls, and we're eating these Fruit Loops in silence. And we went through like multiple boxes because none of us could stop eating. And I remember thinking that I didn't know so much joy could come from $3. Like, it was just like, when you're that hungry, it doesn't matter. You're just eating food, and it's delicious. And you're like, this is bliss. Life doesn't get better than this.
Seriously.
But it was only because of being deprived to begin with. You're like, in this moment, I'm doing it.
You're making me hungry.
Yeah. Actually, I don't have a story like that, but the best sandwich I have ever had in my life was in Paris.
I remember you saying that.
Yes. Have I talked about
Where
that on
was
here?
it? What was it?
It was just a ham and Swiss on a French baguette with butter.
I had something like that in Italy.
It was so good.
From a food cart, and I was like, I don't eat food from a food cart because I'm thinking of New York City, and it's like disgusting. I'm not gonna get a sandwich from there. Oh my gosh, it was amazing too.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Delicious.
Let's just talk about food the rest of the podcast. I'm so hungry right now.
You want some?
I'm good for now. What is it? Just Pirates booty?
Are you allowed to have
There
it?
you go. You have your booty.
You want some?
Oh gosh.
Can you eat
Every
this?
time.
I gotta put it in.
Yeah, sure. I'll take some. I'll take some booty.
We got peckers and booties.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh, Danny's the most mature out of all of us.
Thank you.
I don't think so
Oh
good.
man.
What do you think of Umbridge's speech, though?
Oh my gosh. She interrupted Dumbledore.
Yeah, that annoyed me.
Him.
And that voice is so annoying.
Oh my gosh.
Especially on the audiobook.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh
I'm glad
my
it's annoying.
gosh.
Just like I was picturing it.
What's your
Also-
first impression of her?
Dumbledore was caught off guard.
Yeah.
He doesn't know
You
everything.
didn't see that one.
Didn't see that one coming. But he handled it like a champ. I don't like her, but I'm not that offended by her.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know her well enough. I don't want to judge. And maybe also because I just think of her as being a bad teacher, or I don't know. But I feel like her lessons would have been good for a first year or a second year in Defense Against the Dark Arts.
All right.
It actually was a good setup for a class, like learning the theory and all that. It just doesn't make sense for a fifth year. So I get why everyone was like annoyed about it.
That's because she doesn't know them. I feel like. What was her role in the Ministry of Magic? Did they say that yet?
Senior Undersecretary to the Minister of Magic.
Senior what?
Undersecretary.
What is that?
I don't know what that is, but
Like a made up thing. But
Yeah.
that was the Wizengamot that tried Harry, and she was on that. And that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
Dumbledore was on. So like we know there was a certain caliber of wizard. Well, Fudge is on there. We don't know anything
Yeah,
about him.
I
But
was
like
gonna say.
just the idea that like she's pretty legit in some regard.
But so was Percy.
No,
How-
he was just taking. He was a true secretary, just taking notes,
Yeah,
writing
but
the
so
minutes.
is she. She's an upgrade.
That's fair. She might not have been on the wizard. No, but
She was.
She was making comments. She was on it. Yeah.
No, I'm saying now, but she probably started like that.
Oh, so you're saying she just worked her way up, brown
so I'm like,
nosed, she
I don't
got
know
political.
how much skill she has.
All right, that's fair. I don't know. I don't like her, but I don't hate her yet. But I kind of expect to at some point. But I'm waiting for a good
I
reason.
really don't like her. Her and Fudge just irk me. They're coming to control the school. So, like,
Maybe I'm just happy they didn't take it farther. Like if this is them controlling
Yet.
the school. Yeah, of course. But like so far I'm like, okay.
yeah, but it's like she's in charge. It's like Dumbledore doesn't even have a say now.
You think so?
That her speech interrupting him. That's what it felt like.
I did love the image when she interrupted Dumbledore, kind of looked off guard for a second, and then he backed up and then just sat down and looked very intent to listen to this woman.
Yep.
He's reading the signs. He knows something up is going on. He's trying to piece everything together. And even Hermione's doing that.
Yes.
Everyone else is stupid for not listening to this
Harry
speech.
is just pissed, and I could feel it.
Yeah, I agree.
Like I would feel the same way.
And he gets really pissed in the next chapter. Before we hit the next chapter, what do you guys think of Seamus not coming back to school possibly, and his response to Harry? We get this great line too. Ron is an idiot in some of these chapters, but he has great lines as well. When he goes, "Out of order, am I?" Shouted Seamus, who in contract with Ron was going pale. "You believe all the rubbish he's coming out with about you know who? Do you? You reckon he's telling the truth?" "Yeah, I do," said Ron angrily. Just a flat out response. I love that about Ron. He just backs up his friend right here, doesn't back down. But what do you think about Seamus not coming back? And what do you think about Harry's response to all this? Was Harry over the line to respond the way he did?
I feel like he should just answered him the truth of what happened to Cedric, and it would have been better. Seamus would have been like, oh, okay, what I thought was true about you. And then he just fueled the fire. But then he had to have convinced his mom that it's okay.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, he's on your side, but just explain Harry, just
Yep.
explain what happened.
Because there's a plea in his voice at one point of being like, "Oh, what happened? If you tell me what happened."
Yes.
And I know Harry doesn't want to relive that, but there's a point where you just have to like mature up. It's like, okay, sit down. This is my story. And then he kind of lays it out. You can just do it in like 5 minutes. You got to have like that quick elevator pitch where you just tell people, this is it.
Yeah, he needs to learn from Hermione.
Yeah.
He needs some emotional maturity. I was laughing because I was like, I felt like you in this chapter because I'm like, come on, Harry, I'm expecting more from you.
Yeah.
Now
He just
I
keeps
thought that.
misdirecting his anger. He gets mad at like the random people in the hallway and takes it out on his friend in the room. I'm like, this isn't them. They're like, these are your people. Like, if nobody else in the school knows, tell them. Sit them all down. All you boys, you don't want to, but like, just do it. And you're all going to be closer because of it. And then he's got a team. But like, he keeps trying to do it by himself. That's why he's not talking about the dreams to Ron and Hermione. And he just like keeps getting angry at everything.
And I do think there's
weird.
one point, like, so Becky mentions this on the stream. Ron is a great friend. Harry's response is natural given everything he's been through. He's a teenager, but it doesn't make it right.
Yeah.
I think that's right, but I think we hold Harry to such a high standard because Hermione is near perfect. She's not perfect, obviously, but she is the most emotionally mature person in this book, probably. I think there are a fair share of emotionally mature people, and she has her faults, obviously, but how she's able to respond and calm down for certain things and just think level-headed about certain things. And then you have Harry right next to that, who is just rash. And those are the reasons why we do love Harry. Like, he's rash, he's stubborn.
Yep.
I mean, we love him for those reasons, but
And we
sometimes
loved
he's a
when
little too
Hermione
much.
slapped Malfoy because she's
Yeah,
allowed to be rash
exactly.
too sometimes.
Yes.
But we also in these chapters saw Luna and Cho, who we don't know Luna. But she seems mature. But Cho, we know for a fact, has been through some stuff.
Yeah.
This has been a rough summer, and she's still handling it. She's putting up with Ron and Quidditch stuff and what So I think in contrast, it makes Harry look a little immature in these chapters because again, we're starting to hold him to a high standard. And I'm trying to give him grace. Like, I get it. I can see how I would make these same mistakes, but I just really wanted him to like be vulnerable and honest with his people. And he's just so bad at it. So bad.
Yeah, he's got to learn. We want you to grow, Harry. We love you.
I know. So I started wondering or thinking about the question about why Ron was made prefect. And in this scene, I wondered if it was a way that Dumbledore put a certain protection over Harry. Almost like he knew Harry couldn't have been prefect because people wouldn't have been okay with it, judging from Seamus's reaction. And then Ron, being prefect, could step in situations like this and like shut it down.
That's a great point because in Goblet of Fire, Harry is kind of on an island in the beginning, except for Hermione. And if he's made prefect in the same sense like he was made champion, he might be on an island again with Ron being jealous at him secretively. But Dumbledore makes Ron prefect, so Ron has a burst of confidence and has more like sympathy for Harry, who's not made a prefect, and like backs him up in these moments.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point. He kind of ingrains friendship within him.
Yeah.
Love that. Headcanon now. Okay. Anything else in chapter 11?
Some
Right
of
on
the
cue.
Umbridge lines that I can just a little bit appreciate. Well, first of all, she said it's lovely to be back at Hogwarts. Didn't know if that was just on ministry duties or if she was a student at some point. She said the rare gifts with which you were born may come to nothing if not nurtured and honed by careful instruction. Squib thoughts. Interesting. So could come to nothing if not honed. So someone could, in theory, grow up, if Umbridge can be believed, could grow up having done what Harry did, making glass disappear, appearing on a roof, whatever. And if it was not honed, maybe would never realize at all that it was anything special until they were an adult, and then it might be a missed opportunity. They had the nature, but not the nurture. Might be too late, or very, very hard to learn.
Wait, could
at that
you
point.
like lose your powers if you like adolescence?
Well, she's saying
you hit a certain age,
if
like
not
18.
nurtured and honed, And I feel like maybe I'm equating it to learning a language. Think how easy it is to learn if you're just exposed to it when you're 2 or 3. Subconsciously, you pick it up in no time. But when you're an adult, you have to actively work at it, and it's very hard. So if it's that same thing with magic as a kid, if it's nurtured correctly, if your parents are teaching you or you go to school, it might be easy. But as an adult, I'm just imagining it takes much more effort. Yeah. Maybe easier for some people. But anyways.
And there's a chat right now is having I might have some more of those because they're delicious.
I heard that.
They're so good. The chat right now is having a really good discussion on Harry and what he's dealing with and how he has survivor's guilt, PTSD, and how he's able to handle that. And one of the reasons why I flip-flop between all the books being my favorite books at some point. I have like 10 different lists of, I don't have 10, but I have books that when I first read them, they were my favorite. I have books that right now are my current favorite, like the top 7 list. I have books that impacted me the most, books that I think are the best written, like a whole list of all these things. And in some ways, Order of the Phoenix, it is number 1 on some of those lists because I really love Harry and his emotional journey in this book, how grumpy he is, but how he looks like he's processing through what's happening. Or maybe, he's processing through it, but how he has his survivor's guilt, how he's walking through life, how he just wants to be a normal kid and he can't. Like, he just wants to go on a date with Cho, but Cho was Cedric's boyfriend, and it's going to get weird and ugly and complicated if they go on a date. And I don't know, there's something about me that, especially even, this became my favorite book when I don't tell this story that much, but I had a melanoma and I had cancer. You guys all know. And about 5 years ago, and initially the prognosis wasn't great, and then I'm fine now. But my survivor's guilt was there was a mom who she had 2 kids, and about 4 months after I was had my surgery and was okay, she got diagnosed with breast cancer. And initially the prognosis was like okay, but things just got worse and worse and worse, and she passed away 2 years ago. And so my survivor's guilt is like all over the place. And one of the reasons, like, you can't make fun of me for this, so this is great. But one reason why I love the Harry Potter books so much is because it just connects you to other people who might have experienced grief, or it like helps you process through those kind of emotions. And I think this book in particular, it became my favorite during those moments because Harry's dealing with a lot of survivor's guilt right here. And I could see it. I read this book in a completely different light after that. And I was like, I see Harry, he's immature in certain moments, but I understand his grumpiness. I understand his frustrations to a whole different level because of some of the stuff that I went through. I think it's probably all of us. All of us have gone through crap, and we can understand kind of what Harry's going through in some sense. So that was my spiel. Chapter 12, Professor Umbridge. Give me a quick summary of this chapter.
I didn't write one because I just finished it before I walked in here. Kristen?
Angelina is named Quidditch captain, and the tryouts are near. Fred and George are looking to recruit testers for their products, and we go through each of the classes: history of magic, potions, divination, and defense against the dark arts.
Beautiful. Okay, first question. Out of those 4 classes that they take, divination, and the teachers have to be included. Divination, history of magic, potions, and defense against the dark arts. With those 4 teachers, which class would you want to take most?
Potions. With those teachers and that combo, I don't know.
Either potions or divination.
I know, me too.
I think we'd have fun in divination.
That's why I was like, that would be so nuts.
I'd do that thing. Are you taking this class? Yes. Okay.
We wouldn't even have to talk to each other. Just look at each other. And then Trelawney would be like, you guys have the eye.
You have the gift.
The clairvoyant vibrations of my room.
In that class. The potions would be fun. Snape would piss me off because he's just mean. But
yeah,
maybe he would like us. He hates Hermione though, so he wouldn't like us either.
Yeah, he just hates
I would
everybody.
like history with a different teacher.
Bins.
but not bins.
But Hermione learns a lot in it. Apparently.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
but
sure,
I'm no
'cause she's a
Hermione though.
She's good at just
exceptional
listening
student.
to everything.
Yeah.
I would not be good at
Give me a
that.
good teacher for that class. Oh my gosh, that's the best class at Hogwarts. No question.
So
History of
true.
Magic? Let me teach it. Come on. Hogwarts, if you're listening to this, hire me. I know you're out there. I'll learn it all in a year and I'll teach it. Oh my gosh.
I'm so good at asking questions, see?
I know. Oh, that'd be so fun.
I don't like that the prefects have authority over the 6th and 7th years. It kind of doesn't make sense to me. I get why you'd want the prefects to be in 5th year since 6th and 7th maybe get so intense with the classes. But I think then the prefects should have no authority older or in their own year, and it should only be younger grades. That way they become like truly like RAs. You know, when you're an RA in college, it's not over your own age. It's always people younger. So I feel like that would make more sense.
I was an RA my last 2 years.
Oh yeah? And you were the same age as people?
No.
I didn't mean that. I was like, gotcha.
Gotcha.
Whatever, Danny.
But still, like,
old.
but even then, same age is like fine. But I just don't like that Fred and George got weird about it.
Yeah. Someone open the door?
No, I think it's the
think it's just-
wind
Oh, yeah. The wind is just knocking it open a little bit.
I'm on it.
Trelawney.
It's a
Sorry.
ghost. Sir Nicholas. Nearly head in a
boy.
snick.
I thought it was someone, though. I was like, I'm not answering.
There's I was talking about this line before, but when Harry walks out in the morning, Hermione is kind of right there and they're having a discussion. And Harry goes, been having a nice little chat with her about whether or not I'm lying. Attention-seeking prat, have you? Harry said loudly. No, said Hermione calmly. I told her to keep her big fat mouth shut about you, actually. And it would be quite nice if you stopped jumping down our throats, Harry, because in case you haven't noticed, Ron and I are on your side. There was a short pause. Sorry, said Harry in a low voice. Love Hermione that one.
Yes.
Sometimes your friend
Calling him
needs to
out.
kick you in the butt like that, and I love that. Fantastic. What career do you think Hermione's going to take? We're talking about like all sorts of careers that they're going to possibly be in. What do you think Hermione would be?
I don't know, something with law, lawyer,
say she would
something
make a
to
fantastic
change.
lawyer.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
She would make an incredible lawyer. Oh my gosh.
I kind of want her to be headmaster at Hogwarts, though. That'd be cool. Maybe when she retires, she can go do something else for a while.
When Dumbledore retires.
Yeah, I guess if he makes it until Hermione's age, or someone else could fill in. Lupin can swing by for a little bit.
Lupin.
I don't know. Ron is a tough one, though.
Okay, here's another question. If the trio had to teach a class at Hogwarts, what class would they teach?
I feel like Harry could do defense against
Yeah.
the dark arts.
Oh, yeah. That's
a
hands
clear
down.
one. What would Hermione teach?
History.
Oh, she'd be so good at
She
it
would
too.
make it good.
Yeah.
She's always like, didn't you read?
Yeah.
Ron, is there a cooking class?
I was going to say, is there like a gym class?
Health and phys ed.
Yes.
Oh man, yeah, he could do an okay job being the Quidditch coach, maybe.
Yeah.
Chess coach.
Chess coach. There
Chess
you go.
club.
That's
could do
all I know that
divination,
he's
honestly.
good at, though. I know he's good at other things. But what?
But
Yeah.
oh man, yeah, I don't know. But I don't think he would enjoy being a teacher.
Yeah.
Or maybe he would for the right class. But from what we're seeing, he's not passionate about any of these subjects.
What is he passionate about?
Hermione?
And
So there's actually a really
So
funny
he'll
note.
be a husband,
In the first movie, this is a great little
which is
tidbit.
great.
Yeah. In the first movie, the director, Chris Columbus, gave the 3 actors an assignment. He said, you need to write an essay about what you think of the character, like how you think they would behave, all that kind of stuff. And you have to write it as a character. That was a sneeze out there. And so Harry came up with something, Hermione came up with something really long, like in Hermione style. And Ron just didn't write anything because he goes, Ron wouldn't do his homework. He wouldn't write anything. So he wouldn't be a teacher because he hates school. He wants to get out.
Front and back.
There you go. Now I know that reference.
Friends. You're gonna have to watch that episode though.
I know.
Wait, was that a Christina shout out?
Yeah.
Nice.
I think so.
Oh, from the email. Yep.
Okay. Some other lines that I want to talk about. Let me read these. Okay, sorry. There's some funny ones. It goes, Hermione's talking. She goes, how would it be, she asked them coldly, as they left the classroom for break, bins drifting away through the blackboard, if I refused to lend you my notes this year? We'd fail our OWLs, said Ron. If you want that on your conscience, Hermione.
That was good.
It was such a great line. Like, Ron's a moron in these chapters, but his lines are great. I feel like he's becoming wittier.
Quick-witted.
Like, he's got these zingers. And then there's another one. Is that a tornadoes badge? Ron demanded suddenly, pointing to the front of Cho's robes where a sky blue badge emblazoned with a golden T was pinned. You don't support them, do you? Yeah, I do, said Cho. Have you always supported them, or they just started or it's just since they started winning the league, said Ron, in what Harry considered an unnecessarily accusatory tone of voice. Is Ron a moron? What do you guys think?
No, he's passionate about sports. There
you go.
it is.
Oh, that makes sense.
I'm like, don't jump on the bandwagon,
He'd
people.
be the Madam Hooch.
Yes.
The Mr. Weasley.
And I guess I also didn't think this was that bad. I'm like, hey, if they're standing right there, either Ron and Hermione have to say, we'll catch up with you later, Harry. All right, bye. And like wingman, which they should have done. But if they're going to be there, they're making conversation. You could talk about Quidditch for a little bit. She's into sports. She's repping it right in front. So yeah, talk about it.
Harry could have stepped in and saved the day.
Absolutely. It feels like Harry could have then stepped in and been like, no, she's always been a fan. And then he knows something about her, whatever. And then they could have talked about Quidditch. They all love Quidditch. So to me, this didn't seem that bad, but Harry's just so awkward. He clams up.
Yeah.
He doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah. He's waiting for perfect circumstances and they're not going to come.
Yep.
You just got to adapt. Work with what you got.
Please. You guys are saying this as though like you could talk to your crush like so easily.
Fair.
So true.
And at 15
true.
is prime time for terribleness. But the point is, I'm not going to hate on Ron in this circumstance because I feel like Ron didn't make this bad. Harry did. I'm like,
Ron couldn't
Ron
run
was a
his
little
own
harsh.
business.
It was a little much. But I mean,
If Harry was a little quicker witted, he could have said something that made Cho laugh.
Yep.
He could have been like, Ron, you like support the worst Quidditch team of all time. How could you be talking about Quidditch, you know? Yeah, he could have said something quick and Cho could have laughed and he could have been the hero, but Harry's just...
Wibbler. Get out of here. Listening to those theories.
We talked about this before, but do you think Cho and Harry will end up together?
Not likely.
I thought it was a big no at the end of the last book, but now more likely. I think she's a front runner. I don't see
There's
anyone
no
else.
other one.
I think it's most likely Harry ends up single, but if he doesn't, then I feel like she's a front runner, then maybe followed by Luna.
What if he ends up with Ginny? Because she's
It would
obsessed
work
with-
as long as Ron was down. Ginny's becoming a lot
Ron and
cooler.
Monica.
She might be third place.
Wait, what'd you say?
Another Friends reference.
But I
Did I
want
say
Neville to
Ross?
end up with someone though.
The wrong name. Ross and Monica. I said Ron and Monica.
Oh, I thought you were
just had
making a joke about
I had
one.
to
Chandler and
correct
Monica,
myself.
You're saying the brother and sister?
Well, brother and sister, yes.
okay.
And then Chandler and Monica. I have to correct this because it's
Of
bothering me.
course, you don't want it out there in the world. This is recorded. People will be like, Jen doesn't know anything about Friends.
Hold on. You said you want Neville to end up with someone.
Yeah.
Ginny.
Well,
Kind of Ginny, because I do like that because of the Yule Ball and because of Ginny sticking up for him here.
What do
Like,
you think Ginny and Neville's career would be? What is Neville gonna do?
Something with plants.
Herbology. I mean, he could teach it or he could write books on it.
There has to
could
be
study
more
it at the
than
ministry.
that. Though, like you just
He could
something-
be National Geographic. He's out there collecting samples out in the world. Can't really picture that, but he could. Or he just runs a greenhouse. That actually would
my
make the
gosh,
most sense.
Dream job.
Yeah, like he just like grows these plants. He's the boss. He runs the
Breeds them?
business. Yeah, like he kind of does his own thing. He has a big old greenhouse somewhere.
you know what
What would Ginny do though? What were you gonna say though?
Ginny, she's good at spells too, but I don't know what
I feel like she might be a good orer. She's kind of like a little sneaky. She comes up with quick excuses to the dung bombs at the door when her mom asked. She thought about the music box making people sleepy. She's quick. I feel like she would be a good orer.
It's interesting though, because every time you ask us what they want, like what they would do or whatever, I'm always thinking of like, what skill can they use to help Harry win against Voldemort?
Oh yeah, gotcha.
So I'm like, Neville is going to find plants that are super poisonous or something, and Ron and Hermione. Like I'm trying to always think of how are they going to use their God-given skills, or I don't know what you say in this world.
Their gifts.
Their gifts.
So what is Ginny's?
She's really good at jinxing, but I don't even know what that means. I mean, I do, but not really. And so she's like a police officer.
She can be good.
Oh my gosh, so many noises tonight.
I know.
Climbing the building?
Spider-Man.
So, Umbridge is a Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. Danny, you don't hate her so much, right? You think
Yeah, she just had a lot of good
Okay.
lines in her speech that I couldn't argue with. I didn't like the approach, interrupting Dumbledore, overstepping, etc. I don't hate her though.
So, you agree that they should prune practices that ought to be prohibited? Great alliteration. She's
Yeah, and
Nailed
she
her
said
speech
like a few
alliteration.
other things in there,
Which is all the defense of the dark arts.
but that was implying that Hogwarts was doing a bad job, as Hermione pointed out. And I'm not trying to say that, but the statement is true. Prune things that are like dumb, and she talked about innovation and things like that and trying to find a balance between pushing the boundaries, but also holding on to tradition. And I'm like, yeah, that's absolutely. I feel like her statement was true. I just get the feeling her and the ministry are going to take it too far.
But should that statement have been in front of the students? I feel like that should have been in front of the students. Should not have been. It should have been with the professors and Dumbledore and
she's showing
her.
all her cards. It's a great point.
She should not have done that.
Absolutely. It didn't make any sense.
So that's why I don't like her.
And she's not she's an okay teacher, but with a terrible approach.
How is she an okay teacher?
Her approach would have worked really well for
The kindergarten class.
for like the first
No.
years.
Her class is like a Zoom class you took during COVID. It's open the book and copy notes, and I sit here in silence. So
Yep.
I don't think that's a teacher.
But
at
I'm
all.
just saying I don't hate her. That's my only point. I'm not saying I
do.
like her. I'm her
getting
biggest fan.
heated.
But I'm like, she's okay. Lots of people I don't like. She's not that high on the list.
In
I
this
have a feeling
book.
she'll climb though. But yeah, like
you think she's
compared
going to
to
climb and you're going to hit her more?
I think so. It's hard to say. But like I genuinely don't like Fudge at all. And obviously there are evil people like Malfoy, like the Malfoys.
I still think Draco's going to turn.
Good, you think?
Something, I don't know why.
I thought so in book 3, but
He's just going to hate that his father does something to him.
to him.
Or something. Yeah, like the, I keep thinking of like Cedric and his dad, like dynamic
Yeah.
with like Draco Malfoy and his dad.
It
Like
could. I hope
something.
so. It would. That's a great redemption
Or
arc, but-
maybe Draco becomes evil and his dad becomes good. That seems too far-fetched.
Whoa.
Or maybe the whole family gets out. Anyway, sorry.
Sirius can win over his cousin.
Serious.
Mrs. Malfoy is his like whatever cousin, right? Or
I
his aunt.
thought no, Tunks was cousin. Oh yeah, you did. I forget. You have to refresh my memory. I'm old.
Yeah, I don't remember all the specifics, but I know that Mrs. Malfoy was on the tapestry for his family tree.
I don't remember that.
I don't think she was burned out either. So I just keep thinking Creature is susceptible to other blacks giving him commands, and she's still out there. So I'd have to go back and read it, but I think she trumps him in her lack of burnness.
So another note about Dolores Umbridge. So to me, a little point, and then I want to ask a question about this. Whenever I teach classes or anything like that, I hate the idea of, to me it seems petty when she walks in. I roll my eyes whenever a teacher does this. Good morning, students. Good morning.
Ugh.
That wasn't good. Let's try that again.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. You will say good morning, Professor Umbridge, every time you walk in. I'm like, I hate that. That's not teaching. That's just training monkeys, you know?
Oh, that's it. She's training them. And
I hate when they're in this debate. It gets so much under my skin because I think this is a terrible way to teach. Whenever I teach, I'm like, I love the idea of people, going back at it, like snapping back and forth, like quick discussion. If something says something, like even in the podcast, we just interrupt each other half the time. Sorry, Jen, we interrupt you a lot. Like we interrupt each other and we like have this banter and it's fun. And that's what makes the discussion lively and enjoyable. When they're in the middle of this discussion and she's going, raise your hand. I'm like, I will raise my hand to punch you, woman. Maybe that's too far. Don't condone violence on this podcast.
Of course not, but it's about equality because you want to punch her regardless of her gender.
Yeah. Thank you. So she gives Harry Potter detention for a week. According to how you view this woman, what would her detention be? So like we learned Lockhart's detention. He had to sign autographs, Ron had to polish trophies for one of his detentions. What do you think this detention is going to be, according to how you know Umbridge so far?
Oof, it's going to be strict. Huh. Maybe he'll have to read some series of ministry documents or something.
That'd be so boring to sit here and read legal proceedings.
Well, isn't she like a secretary?
So, that'd be
maybe
torture.
she can't do that work, so she has to have someone else do it for the ministry.
I feel like she's going to try and brainwash him, though. Like, get him to do something.
She would pick the worst student to do that.
Would she try to inflict emotional harm on him by making him read, like, bad things? I don't know what those things would be, though.
And you
the
don't
articles
hate
that
her,
made fun
but
of
you're
him.
saying that she's this evil person.
No, but that's what I said. I said I don't hate her yet, but I expect that I will, because she's given off those vibes. But I don't want to condemn quite yet, because in my mind she hasn't done anything worth hating yet. She's just being annoying,
which is worthy of hating.
But like even someone like Malfoy, like he's out there like making fun of everyone and calling people mudbloods, the M word. Like he's out there doing things that are just like bad and wrong and bullying people. And like he seems evil, but this lady's just like annoying. And
the sad thing is that doesn't even bother me as much because he's like a kid, I guess.
Huh. Okay.
It's not right.
I just think of her as like an out of touch old lady though. Maybe that's why I'm just like,
No, I don't like authority figures that like they boss you around and they do it in an unjust way because they have control over you. Mm-hmm. Like no matter what you say, it's not good because I am the professor and you have to listen to any little thing I say. Like I hate, and I don't know what that word is, but I can't stand that. Yep. And I'm reading this chapter is how she's portrayed, and I'm like, nope, Harry, I would have done the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, there's a good portion of this chapter about what is truth versus what is lie. She doesn't believe Harry's story. And so Harry's pointing the details out very plainly about what happened.
And
so Cedric Diggory died of his own accord. And she goes, Cedric Diggory was an unfortunate circumstance.
Accident.
So,
and then what? Yeah. And then I'm like, well, explain, what is an accident?
Yeah.
I would have.
So
Yep.
she's a piece of work.
He's gonna have to organize her closet of pink cardigans.
Yeah, they kept railing on her cardigan. They just kept making fun of that. That was funny to me. So yeah,
Or just write things over and over 1,000 times.
oh, just write lines.
Probably. She really likes that quill on the paper sound.
What would the lines say if he were to write lines? Professor Umbridge is always right.
And I am a liar. Voldemort
Harry-
does not exist.
Really?
Why am I crazy? All these stupid things.
Because if she did something like that, like forced him to write something untrue or whatever, like you can't leave this until you write the real story of what happened that night. And then he writes it and she says, nope, that's not the real story. And then has to write it again and then just can't leave.
Oof.
We'll see.
She irks me so much.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There is last little question because I think this is lovely. I love this. Professor McGonagall, when they're in this meeting.
Wait, can you hold that
Yeah.
one quick second? The only thing is why. So because there was a vacancy in the staff, they were allowed to have this ministry person come fill this spot. Will we or like? Never mind. I'm just like she has no skills, so why is Dumbledore allowing this? But he has to. He has no choice.
Kind of, yeah. It's a ministry overstep. That's kind of what we get. Like Hermione listening to the speech at the moment knows that this is a ministry overstep. And she's saying the ministry is getting involved in ways that they probably shouldn't be. I mean, Fudge hinted at that before too.
Yeah.
It's ministry involvement. I don't know if they're pulling Dumbledore's hand here. It kind of seems like a combination of what you're saying. He had a real difficult time finding someone who could become Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. And so the ministry just stepped in because they wanted to exert control. And there was an open spot. So they said, okay, we got a person for you. And you don't really have any say in this.
Okay.
I love McGonagall though, even though she has a bad gambling addiction.
She
Harry-
drugs the students now.
Yeah, I know. Harry hands her the note and says, the note says he yelled at Professor Umbridge. McGonagall goes, well, said Professor McGonagall, rounding on him. Is this true? Is what true? Harry asked, rather more aggressively than he had intended. Professor, he added, in an attempt to sound more polite. Is it true that you shouted at Professor Umbridge? Yes, said Harry. You called her a liar? Yes. You told her he who must not be named is back? Yes. Professor McGonagall sat down behind her desk, watching Harry closely. Then she said, have a biscuit, Potter. And we now know, I didn't know this before, but the biscuits are laced with the draft of peace. Great. I love that. What are your thoughts on McGonagall here? What are your thoughts on just everything that's happening at Hogwarts as well? Because McGonagall is like a microcosm of
Right.
the general feeling of some of the professors at Hogwarts.
I feel like we're seeing her as like just a regular person, not a professor with Harry right now. Like kind of a member of the order with Harry in a way.
Wait, is she?
I'm assuming.
She hasn't shown up or
But
been
she
mentioned.
had a task from Dumbledore.
She did.
I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I just
you're right.
assume anyone
I
that's
assumed-
following Dumbledore
I assumed
is in
the same,
order.
so I'm not like hating on it like that. But it just didn't occur to me that we haven't actually seen her at the headquarters yet,
She was probably doing work at the school
getting things
while
done.
Dumbledore is busy.
Yeah,
Oh, dang it. If you're on chat, go check out our subreddit and go check out theories that we talked about for people when the books were coming out. I have a subreddit or someone created a subreddit or a post that was talking about theories people were coming up with before the 7th book was released, and someone posted one that I had forgotten about, and it is wild. And if you're on the chat, go check that out. Another plug for our subreddit, r/first-time-readers. You guys will see that eventually, and we'll talk about that
Next
eventually.
year.
I'm excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be a while. But yeah, McGonagall is great here. There's a few questions that people in chat want. There's one in particular that I want to talk about. We'll kind of end with this, but all the books kind of coalesce. Like we learn about what happens at the end of each book. Obviously, what do you think is going to happen at the end of this book? What do you think is going to happen with Harry? What do you think is going to happen with Umbridge? What do you think is going to happen with Dumbledore? What's the plot? What's the driving plot for this book so far? And what will happen at the end?
This feels like Harry's emotional journey so far.
And even specifically with Umbridge, like, will she turn out to be Voldemort? Will she will she be taking Polyjuice Potion and she's really Voldemort? Will she become a werewolf like Lupin?
Soon for our serious predictions right now.
She's a
It is
reverse
soon, but-
Animagus, actually. She's really a toad.
Someone
She's
kissed
the
her
toad queen.
and she became Umbridge.
I feel like it is a little bit early for everything to go wild. Like, I'm thinking next year is going to be the year where things go real bad so that book 7 can be chaos.
Also didn't think Voldemort was going to be
I know,
reborn
but
last.
but this brought it back to reality again. Because if this book started with Voldemort at full power, then it would have been like crazy. Like, where do we go by the end of the 7th book? But now we're getting a normal school year again, which I did not expect. So all of a sudden, everything's back to normal, and that tension becomes the theme of the book. So the question is, by the end of this book, is the big reveal going to be Voldemort is back, and now everybody knows it? Maybe. It feels a little bit early, but maybe. But then, well, that sounds great. 2 full books of all-out war. But I don't know. I don't know what would do it, because it feels like a lot of the themes so far are like Ministry versus Hogwarts, Dumbledore versus Fudge. And I don't know how that would come to a head, but maybe it means by the end of this, they boot Dumbledore fully and Umbridge takes over as headmaster and the Ministry is control of Hogwarts. And then next year is a torturous year in book 6 of the Ministry running the school. And by the end of it, Voldemort comes out. And then book 7 is Voldemort versus the world. And then I guess we'd have to decide whether the Ministry sides with him or splits or sides with Dumbledore. So I don't know. I just don't know the trajectory, but I still can't decide if Umbridge is evil. I kind of think she is a little, but I don't fully. Jen, what's going to happen at the end of this book?
I feel like we still haven't gotten enough like little bits and pieces, but I'm wondering if like the Hogwarts might just kind of implode on itself. Like I'm wondering is as we go on with the year, are the different houses going to start really dividing, or are they going to come together? Because the hat is predicting division, so I'm wondering if that's going to affect the school. And then the Ministry of Magic is going to blame Dumbledore, be like, see, this is what, blah, blah. You know, like, now we can't even have a school. Where are we going to send all the kids? And then Umbridge. I feel like she's just going to be really annoying, going back and forth, like, giving Fudge all the scoop, what's going on in the school. Maybe taking away more magic from the school. Like, you can't do this, 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 and this. That's only allowed when you're a 7th year or...
Why are they doing that? What does the Ministry have to gain from that?
I think they want to control.
The Ministry wants control.
And
Do they
don't-
view the students as a threat?
It seems like it.
Yeah, why does the Ministry want control?
Why wouldn't she want the kids to know the defense against the dark arts spells?
Yeah.
It's because you don't need them. They're in like fantasy world. Like there's nothing gonna harm you. So I just
It's so weird. Are they planning a hostile takeover of Hogwarts and they want to
Unless
disarm the
she's
students?
part of the death. Maybe she's a Death Eater.
Oof. Check her forearm.
Ooh,
True.
nice. I
it
feel
up.
like would Snape know it? Maybe. Karkaroff and him.
Crockpot. Get the name right. Come on. it's
Crockpot. Right. Oh man, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out if I think Fudge is more evil than Umbridge. At the moment, I still view Fudge as being scared, not evil. Maybe Umbridge could be evil.
But
And that
what
would be the
if Fudge
trajectory.
is under the Imperious Curse? Then maybe anyone else.
Oh man,
Could
you're
be too.
still thinking that's a thing.
I don't know.
I was thinking it was all about Lucius and his money manipulating Fudge and fear, and he's trying to like make nicey nice with all the rich, powerful like families out there. But I still was not thinking of it as being imperious.
So vote him in or keep him there.
Yeah, and because it is all by voting. Yeah, but like who would be controlling him? Ooh, Umbridge could be. Oof.
Yeesh.
But she can't control him from Hogwarts though, so she wouldn't have left. Unless Bones was a misdirect and she's evil, even though I kind of like her because her brother was in the Order.
Yeah. We'll see, guys.
Oh man.
House Cup winner for these 3 chapters. There's a lot, I think. You can pick a lot of different characters in this. I love Hermione. I
Yeah.
love Ron. I love McGonagall.
That's
Harry's
them
kind
all.
of a jerk, but
I said that's them all. That's
Yeah,
all I
I
would
know.
have said, I think, too. Harry, yeah. He's kind of a jerk, but I kind of get satisfied with his reactions because I'm like, yeah, you tell her.
Yeah.
I guess that's immature me.
Because that's such, I think it's a really good point because there's a point where Harry's anger is maddening when he's mad at his friends. But then there's a point where his anger is beautiful because he's
Yes.
standing up to an authority like Umbridge and he's
Yeah.
telling the truth when no one else around him believes in him. He is standing up. This is a serious test. Standing up for something that he believes in, even when no one believes you. Even when you are feeling unbelievably alone. Fighting for people like Cedric. Like, to me, Harry is honoring Cedric's life here. Umbridge is dishonoring him severely. So his fighting for Cedric and what the truth is, I think, is a beautiful moment in these books. It might be one of my favorites in this entire book so far. But he gets angry at his friends, and Hermione has to say, "Will you stop getting angry at us?" He doesn't know where to put his anger.
Yeah.
He doesn't know he needs to put this toward.
Well, the one thing I
injustices.
was thinking though, he doesn't have any of these adult figures anymore. He doesn't have Sirius Black. He doesn't have Hagrid. He can't talk to Dumbledore. Who is he? He can't talk to
Yeah,
anyone.
doesn't have anyone. I
He
know.
needs a guidance counselor,
I know. Yeah, seriously.
and that's Hermione.
Hermione
Yeah.
is the guidance counselor. I know. There needs to be a therapist on Hogwarts campus ASAP.
Yeah, Hermione's my
Yeah,
House Cup winner.
so
Yeah.
good. She's so
Yeah,
good.
I'm gonna
She
give
had
it to
so
Hermione
many
too.
good lines. I don't know, too many.
So Hermione.
I was gonna say I loved when she just sat there in Umbridge's class and waited with her hand up.
Oh yeah, that was
Was
good.
just patient.
Yeah,
She didn't even open the
agreed.
book
Nope,
too.
I know.
That's what
Yeah.
I loved.
Yep.
That was great.
Memorize the whole thing. Oh, I love that. Yeah, her response is great. I do love a quiet person's response to some of these things, like Dumbledore sitting down after being surprised and just listening quietly. I love when there's a gentle person who still has a presence and aura about them that can control themselves and then make a response. I'm not saying I do that very well, but I love observing people that do that. Yeah, Hermione was great in these. I'm probably going to give it to... I want to give it to Harry. I love McGonagall in this moment, though. I think I want to give it to McGonagall. That was one of my favorite McGonagall moments. What is your guys' favorite moment in these chapters?
I like when he stands up to Umbridge, Harry. But I also like when Luna
Lovegood.
reassures Harry that he's not crazy because she can see the horses too. I don't know why I thought.
Yeah, I
that
liked her. That was good.
Comforting.
I actually loved when she like lost it in laughter toward Ron. It was such a random spot when she like cackled. Do you remember? No.
I'm not good with
Oh
that.
yeah.
chapter.
It was so
a really
random. It was
hilarious
on
moment,
the
and she just
train.
And
could
Ron
not-
just kept looking
yeah.
at her
And
like,
she
why is she
just-
laughing? Oh,
That
because
was wonderful. What was
something
the
about
joke?
a baboon's behind.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
But was
That was
Ron
actually
making
good.
fun
That was when he
of
asked her if she was on the
Malfoy?
Mickey.
Oh, yes. Sorry.
She laughed, and then he asked her that.
Yep.
That would make
Because
sense. why
he's
you
like,
think
what are
it's a
you,
drug.
nuts? Are you
Right.
serious?
That's
Wait,
why-
what was a baboon? Wait, I gotta find that.
I feel like he was making fun of Malfoy.
He was.
Oh yeah. Till they were talking about like their authority
I
as
must not look like a baboon's backside.
writing lines. He lowered his voice to a Goyle's low grunt, screwing up his face in the look of pain concentration, miming writing in midair. I must not look like a baboon's backside.
I must have missed this one.
And then it says
So
everyone
great.
laughed, but nobody laughed harder than Luna Lovegood. She let out
Yeah.
a scream of mirth that caused Hedwig to wake up and flap her wings indignantly, and Crookshanks to
Love.
leap up into the luggage rack. hissing.
Love her so much.
I don't know why. I just loved that moment.
Yeah. What's your guys' favorite moment? Did you say that? I'm losing track of time. Wait, what'd you say?
Pay attention to us, John.
I know. I'm sorry. There's so much going on in the chat right now. It is just.
Well, while you guys figure this out, I'm going to throw myself under the bus. Did anyone take notice? During Umbridge's class, it says Harry was again reminded forcibly of a large fly perched unwisely on top of an even larger
Yeah.
dome.
I didn't want to bring it up.
Oh my gosh. Then I was like,
That made
oh,
me laugh.
is that
Kristen
Rita
is-
Skeeter?
Yeah, I was like, Rita is hanging out on her
Kristen.
head.
Kristen's making
You're
an
in the
appearance
book.
in these.
Wow.
Oh, it's so
famous.
good. I know. There's
I did catch that.
this is I'm going to expose myself as a nerd again for something different, but there are people, there's a show, an Australian show called Bluey, and you guys know I'm obsessed with this show. It's a children's show. I think it's one of the greatest shows of all time. I think it's incredible. I don't even have kids and I still watch it. I love it so much. But there's people who podcast about this, and they podcasted for so long about this show that the creators of the show, they're like in the middle of creating the season. They throw these podcasters, they make them as dogs, animated dogs, and they put them in the episodes.
No way.
So there's people who are podcasting about this. They're like, oh, I was in this episode. How cool would that be?
No,
That
If,
is
like, you were-
your dream.
yeah, that is my
right?
dream. Yeah, that'd be so cool. Yeah, that's so cool. Imagine doing that for like something as big as Harry Potter. Like,
What, we're
she
gonna
made a
be in
quick
the
reference.
Netflix series.
Yeah, I know, right? We're gonna do it, guys. We're just gonna be in the background as extras. Oh, that'd be so cool.
Well, actually,
Oh my
You'll be a
goodness.
fly. You'll be a fox. I forgot what you said.
yeah, me either.
Are you a pigeon? What? A
Oh, yeah,
swan?
pigeon. Oh, yeah, I'd blend in.
Really?
I don't remember what I said. I said a lot of different
I don't
things.
know. We had so many different
What was,
animals.
what was your Patronus?
I'm a
though?
unicorn.
Yeah, the Patronus was a hare.
Yeah, that's right. A
So
hare.
I could just be a hare. I could blend in. No.
Yeah.
There were a lot of Quidditch things happening. I'm curious because Harry has detention every night this week. Did she up it to every night? Mm-hmm. So is he going to miss tryouts, or he's already a lock? Doesn't
He's a lot.
matter.
There's just.
but he
a
won't be able
tryout
to go and
for-
support.
Yeah, there's just a
Hopefully
tryout for the
Ron
keeper right
trying out for keeper.
Yeah, do you think Ron's gonna try out?
Oh, I would love to be right about that. But it hasn't come up, and I'm kind of surprised. Like, why didn't Ron like say that immediately? Like, I'm going to try out. It's going to be so cool. Or like, it's just weird that it hasn't come up from anybody. Nobody has mentioned Ron yet at all. And if it's not Ron, who would it be? Seamus? Like, do we know anyone else that like could step up?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Or no. Anyways,
Luna Lovegood.
and also I'm wondering if there's
Just a
Nice.
Ravenclaw seeker gets so distracted. Oh, look, a butterfly.
Oh yeah, she's not even Gryffindor.
I'm wondering if there's going to be more to that Quidditch team with all their scandal, because it's come up like a few times. And I'm like, that scandal could be a little bit more than your average Quidditch scandal.
There's some
Are we
Quidditch
gonna
scandals.
see
brewing.
Bagman again?
Could be deeper meanings here.
We'll see, guys. We will see. But
Dun, dun, dun.
thanks for joining us on our journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
Ooh.
Wait, did you mention your favorite part, Danny?
No, I didn't.
Rewind,
also
everyone.
good.
Hold on.
I don't know.
Rewind.
Well, you know what? I love the Luna stuff, but that's not like a part. It was like the whole part in the train.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that was
No, but
one of
like
my
you said it too,
favorites.
but you said specifically when she was laughing like that, and I'm like,
baboon's
I wish I could think of
backside.
another moment, you know, like I'm
Sorry,
like
John didn't hear mine, but he wants to hear yours.
everything in the train. I think so. It's also good.
Yeah.
But at the end with Umbridge, that was great too. That's
Yeah.
what you said, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Well, thanks for joining us on a journey of Harry Potter and the First Time Readers.
Again.
This episode has been sponsored by justtherecipe.com.
Yeah, there you go. Great website, everyone. It is a great website. Go check it out. I was actually talking to Chad about this. I am really happy we did do 3 chapters.
Who's Chad?
Chat.
Sorry. Chad.